today on Dr. Phil.
My dad stole my inheritance.
I did not steal my kids' inheritance. They can wait till I croak, and they get theirs.
Grandma left her nothing.
There was a will in which they were named originally, correct?
Yes.
Do you think he manipulated her into changing the will?
I do.
And she had to buy a family heirloom.
You negotiated to sell this to your daughter?
Hey, the facts are the facts.
Why would you do that?
Make $75.
You totally negated what she wanted.
I did not negate it.
You're taking away from your daughters. I wish they could
Stop wishing.
This family drama is just getting started.
He is spending my inheritance, chasing a dream.
My whole family thinks I'm crazy to be pursuing a woman 30 years younger than me.
The old mail-order bride from the Ukraine comes into play.
We seem to hit it off, and she's hot.
She have a sexy voice.
I don't know, I haven't talked to her.
Let's do it. This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. How are you? Hey, guys. Thank you very much. Now, behind this attractive family lies a list of grievances you couldn't even imagine. Divorce, cheating, drinking, name-calling, and even a mail-order bride in the Ukraine. But the biggest source of contention that has divided this group is all over a will left by Grandma. One daughter, Lisa, says her dad stole all of her inheritance. This dispute has left this family apart. We have Lisa, who is on Mom Kathy's side. We have her sister, April, who is siding with Dad, Carl. Now, meanwhile, Lisa's other sisters, Jennifer and Sierra, say they feel caught in the middle. So let's start by hearing from Lisa and her parents, Kathy and Carl. Take a look.
My grandmother passed away almost 5 years ago. My grandma was a wonderful person. We were her life.
A number of years before my mom passed away, she told me how she set up her will.
I saw a copy of her will. Carl would get 75% of the estate, and our daughters would inherit the remaining 25%.
My mother asked me how I felt about that, and I told her I felt it was wrong. My mom listened to what I said, and she changed her will. When my mom died, I inherited approximately $275,000.
My dad stole my inheritance. It infuriates me. It's beyond selfish.
I did not steal my kids' inheritance.
When I think about that, I feel angry, disgusted, mortified.
It's none of her business. I don't like her interfering in something that's not anything to do with her. We've been divorced 14 years. NOYB.
I know my grandma, and I know that she would never want to leave us with nothing.
He told me that he was going to decide when and if they should get the money.
I call Kathy a 160-pound mosquito because a mosquito will bite you and irritate you, and I feel like that's what she's doing. She calls me up, argues with me. It's like this, I don't like it.
I would not put it past my dad that there was a sum of money to be given to us, and he just kept it for himself.
The bottom line of the mother's will is I want people to stop talking about it. I inherited it. They can wait till I croak, and they get theirs.
Okay, so Lisa, you actually believe that he has stolen your inheritance. And how do you think he went about this? How did he do this? How did he steal your inheritance?
I absolutely think that he manipulated the will to get all of it. And the money bothers me. The money absolutely, it'd be great if I had something to help me out with, you know, or I did 3-4 years ago. But it's mainly the fact that he disrespected what Grandma wanted, and you're taking away from your daughters. You know, you're like taking something that was given to us and keeping it for yourself. I feel like that's really selfish.
In 2005, she asked me what I thought of it, and I said, Mom, I don't think it's right. I don't agree with it. You can do what you want, But I said, our whole family and everybody I know leaves it to their offspring. Doesn't jump a generation. And I don't remember the 25%. I'm sorry. I thought it was 50-50, 50 divided by you 4 kids.
See, that's
and
the whole...
so, wait a minute, let me finish.
Sorry.
And so she then changed it. She didn't tell me she changed it until afterwards when I got the copy of the trust. I was made co-trustee, executor of the will, everything else. And I try to help out when I can. I gave you $1,000 back a while, the part that you didn't pay back. I am using that to try to invest it and not lose it and keep it so long that when I die, there'll be enough left to make you guys happy.
And I absolutely appreciate that. But see, the thing is, I never knew what the whole situation was. It was also hush-hush.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what it was, because you originally told our production assistant, Manolo, that your mom left a quarter to the girls. Then you told our producer, Allie, that 3/4 was left to the girls. Then you told segment director John that 50% was left to the girls.
I might have misstated, meaning 3/4 to me. But as I remember, because like I say, when somebody's asking me questions in front of a camera, it's like, how much did you get? I don't even...
Well, we were just trying to get the story. I mean,
as far as I can remember...
She didn't leave anything to me, so I didn't have it.
Even if it was 75 to me, 25 to them, she asked me what I felt about it.
You saw the will.
Will.
I don't know how she saw the will.
I did see a binder, and it said that they got Carl got 3/4 and they got 1/4.
Okay, we're talking about several hundred thousands of dollars here, so I mean it's a significant amount of money. But so you saw at that time 3/4 to him, 1/4 to you.
To the
girls,
daughters.
to be split up among the girls.
We got 1/16.
Right. Okay. So, but then when she did pass, and I'm sorry for your loss, by the way.
You.
So when she did pass and you all suffered the loss, then the will comes out and it all goes to you except $5,000, which went to you,
Correct.
the ex-daughter-in-law.
Yes, but...
So you get nothing. Ex-daughter-in-law gets $5,000 and the rest goes to you.
Correct.
And me and my grandma were really, really close. And it bothers me that you totally negated what she wanted.
I did not negate it. She asked what I felt about it. And I'm telling you, and I told her how I felt.
I'm just saying that I wish Grandma's wishes would have been...
Well, I guess her ultimate wishes were fulfilled.
Well,
Didn't she put her wishes in her will?
That's what I thought, yes. But see, I don't even really know
she
the story.
amended.
It's all been so
Nobody's ever
hush-hush.
saw the will.
No one's ever seen it. I just want to kind of figure out what happened.
You think he manipulated her into changing the will?
I do.
Are you saying he like stood on her air hose until she changed it? Or do you think he conned her into changing it? What are you saying?
I think he convinced her.
I think he did. I think he convinced her. Because my grandma, this is her only son, and they were also very close. And she respected and trusted him.
Right.
You know, and wanted his opinion. So I think that whatever he said went.
There was a will in which they were named originally, correct?
Yes.
And then you talked to her, and you said, I think you should change it.
Right. I was up there visiting, and so I said,
you said, yeah, I think
you decide what you want to do. But I said, this is the way I feel, because she asked how I felt. And I was living in California. She was in Portland, so I couldn't stand on her air hose. And it was, you know, it's to the point, I'll let them read all these documents if they want. I don't care. Right. The other thing I wanted to mention is that I pretty much made her investment decisions for her since my dad died in 1974. So I felt like I had increased her assets to the point where, you know, that's just the way I felt. I felt like I was the man and the man in charge, and I was her son, and that's it.
Well, you said you had read my book, Life Code, and I coined a term in there called baiter. You said that you felt like he was a baiter.
Yeah, I do.
And a baiter, I mean, you can read it right here. It's a term that is backstabber, abuser, imposter, taker, exploiter, and reckless. And it's kind of something that goes beyond different diagnoses. And you said you felt like he fit this term.
I do, to me, absolutely.
And then you say that he stole your inheritance. You say, oh, I don't want to be too harsh. But yet you say, I think he's a backstabber, abusing, imposter, taker, exploiter, and reckless.
Yeah.
That's pretty harsh.
It is. It is harsh.
So you feel that way about him?
I think that he's that way with me, I do.
Well, there's another sister here. There's more than one sister, as we said up front. She does not feel that way about her dad at all. And in fact, she says that Lisa has no business digging into his financial or personal affairs and that she just needs to just back off. We're going to meet her next.
I completely support my dad. Lisa says that my dad has stolen her inheritance, but in reality, it's his inheritance. I would describe my sister Lisa as a superficial, self-absorbed drama queen.
And later,
For 2.5 years, I've been using an international dating website. I'm interested in girls from Ukraine. My whole family thinks I'm crazy to be pursuing a woman 30 years younger than me.
The way that I look at it is that he is spending my inheritance, chasing a dream that's not going to happen. Before my grandma passed away, she told me that I could have this really big, beautiful mirror that used to hang in her house. I love it, and it always reminded me of her. After my grandmother passed away and I asked my dad about getting the mirror and bringing it home, he told me that he was planning on selling it on Craigslist for $150 and that if I wanted it, I was gonna have to pay him $150 for it. I couldn't believe it. I honestly thought he was joking. I was able to negotiate him down to $75. When I think about having to pay for a family heirloom, it's disgusting.
really?
I guess it was really.
You're
Whatever happened to that mirror?
so your mother, you sold it to your daughter, apparently. So your mother has a mirror in her house that has sentimental value to your daughter.
I don't know why, but
Well, it doesn't matter why. It does. And here's the mirror. You see it right here.
It's hanging. You just saw it a few weeks ago for Christmas, or a couple months ago.
yeah, I thought you had it.
And so you negotiated to sell this to your daughter?
I guess so. Hey, the facts are the facts.
Why would you do that?
Well, I guess to make $75.
I feel like he wouldn't have done that if it was with April or Sierra. Like April got that cool
No,
chair.
I'm just trying to understand. I'm really trying to understand here.
Well, it was probably wrong.
But
How's that?
why did it seem like a good idea at the time? I had this mirror. It's obviously of no value to you.
Well, if I sold it for $150, it's $150 for something that was hanging on my mother's wall for 30 years. And it's no different than me selling all her furniture and stuff. And Kathy got a big percentage of that for doing that, helping out with all that sale. As far as the mirror goes, you know, it's something I've totally forgotten about. I could be totally wrong in doing it, and I make mistakes.
Lisa's sister April says the inheritance money belongs to their dad and no one else should feel entitled to it.
Basically, we have two camps. We have Lisa and her mom versus April and I.
I completely support my dad. I always have my dad's back.
They definitely have each other's backs. They will lie for each other, too.
Have you talked to Lisa or Neil?
No, I don't talk to Neil.
Have you talked to Jen?
I don't talk to Lisa either. April and I have a better relationship than I do with my other daughters.
I think that my sister, Lisa, and my mother are trying to make my dad look like he's greedy and self-serving. Lisa says that my dad has stolen her inheritance, but in reality, it's his inheritance.
Of course she's going to say that because my dad helps her out financially. He gives her money. She's the one reaping the benefits.
I would describe my sister Lisa as superficial, self-absorbed.
I feel like she's nice to my face, but then goes to my dad and talks behind my back.
They need to come to me and talk about what's bugging them and what's being fed to them from their mother.
They're constantly talking about me or my mom. It's like, meow.
Lisa is a drama queen. Lisa blows everything out of proportion, and my mother is on the bandwagon because she's bored with her life.
April and I have never really seen eye to eye.
Growing up, my mother was incredibly abusive. My mother used to lock me in closets. She would hit me with belts.
April thinks I'm a bitch.
The sound of her voice makes me cringe. When I think about my mom, I feel like I want to punch her in her face. What I want from my mom is to go jump off a cliff.
What do you think about your dad selling your superficial sister, this mirror? Maybe she had to pay $75 to look at herself.
From what I heard, Lisa says that my grandma said that she could have the mirror. I don't know if that's the case or not. She brought up this chair that I have that's probably worth $15.
Did you throw down 3 5s for the chair?
No, I did not throw down 3 5s for the chair.
You didn't have to pay for it? What do you think about him selling her the mirror?
I think it's because the mirror is valuable. I think the frame on it is made out of something valuable so that it has some worth.
Really? God, you guys think about this so differently than I do.
Me too.
It's all about the money.
I'm shocked.
Can I throw some down? You know, we talk
about the
about
money.
not
Yeah.
giving her
Right here,
things.
isn't it?
I gave her my mom's engagement and wedding ring thing. Okay, maybe it's worth $1,000. You know, did you ever bring that up?
Yes.
You know, yes,
Actually,
I
she
did.
did.
I did.
That was the first thing she talked about.
Okay,
actually,
well, good for you.
That you gave her that.
You
know
get
why?
an attagirl.
Well, do you know why? First of all, I gave Sierra the actual wedding band because I thought she deserved it. Because she was really close with Grandma. And I know me and Sierra, all of us were really close with her. But I know particularly, I think we had more of a special connection. You gave me that because I was holding her hand when she died.
Mm-hmm. I know that.
And I called you and said, come down here.
I said, I couldn't.
You couldn't because you were drinking.
I had gotten a DUI. I was on probation. And I had 2 glasses of wine.
Yeah, but Dad,
prior
it was
to that.
3 miles down the street.
No, it isn't. It's 8 miles.
Okay, well, you
one.
could have gotten a cab when I'm calling you bawling, saying your
okay.
mom is dying in front of
I
me
was
right
in there
now.
for 2.5 hours just before that.
Right, but that doesn't
And the
matter.
only-
She's
the
dying
only
right
reason you
now.
got there then was because you were late. She would have died before.
Dad, I was at work. I was working a double shift. I told you that I'm going to come during my break. As soon as I got off work, I went down to the hospital. I was there. My thought was I was going to be there for an hour visit with her and then go back to work. I didn't know that she was going to pass away
Well,
right
I didn't
there.
either. And by you telling me 15 minutes before she did, there was no way I was going to get there in time anyway, even if I
Well, even if you
attempted
didn't
it.
get there in time, at least you could have been there to help support the situation, be there as her son and as my dad, to kind of help, you know, nurture and comfort and all
I
that
guess
other
that's why
stuff.
I did. That's why I did for the 2.5 hours earlier when the doctor said she couldn't understand anything I was saying, and when I said, "Mom, do you know that we all love you, and can you hear what I'm saying?" And she's hooked up to her morphine, and she went.
See, so she did know. She did know because she did the
But
same
they said
thing
she
with
was
me.
pretty much brain dead. Well, she wasn't brain dead.
Well, I know exactly,
And I
and
thought
we
she
knew
was going to
that.
live longer than that day.
Me too.
Anyway, I can't go back and go through that. I
I
can't
know, but I
change
want
that.
you to just acknowledge that, like, I just would like for you to acknowledge
I
that.
told you 1,000,000 times, Lisa, that it was so wonderful that you were there, but I was sorry you went through it alone.
I know, but I wish that you...
Stop wishing.
I stopped wishing a long time ago, Dad, honestly. Like, that's why we're here.
There was a will.
I felt like there was some shadiness, like something.
You
that
want to
wasn't-
come over and look at the damn papers? I got them in a bookcase.
I
You
see-
want to read the
Dad,
whole
I see
300
them.
pages.
And later, you think that he's getting catfished.
There's obviously someone on the other end writing letters.
I'm not stupid.
But when you went to meet Natalie, she wouldn't meet you. Somebody tell me again why we're here. Are we here talking about money? Or are we here talking
Right.
about relationship?
It's
Or are we here
more
talking about
relationships
your
and
resentment of fact
everything.
that
It's
he
everything.
seems to not plug into you
Yes.
emotionally?
Yes.
What are we here about?
Honestly, I think the money aside, the will, I feel like, is not even. I felt there was a little deception there. And everything, the whole ball of wax sucks. But I feel like that's not the main focus.
Here's
the main
thing,
focus.
Lisa, though, had you ever asked Dad, show me these documents, he would have shown them to you.
April, we were going to have a conversation, but you told Dad that, get ready, they're about to, you know, they're going to attack.
I
They're going
did?
to attack you.
When did I say that?
Before it happened. And so Dad said, oh, I've got my guns blazing. We're going to have this go on. But it was during Christmas time.
Who said this?
And I didn't.
Well, that's because we agreed to
How would
disagree
you
so
know?
much.
Well, there,
Because I was a part of the decision.
there,
You weren't.
he
even
did
there.
provide us documents concerning the will, and just to just give you the long and short of it.
Yeah.
There was a will, and he was named in the will as the co-conservator. I mean, there was a. I mean, here it is. This was dated back October 4th, 2005. And it says, upon my death, trustees shall distribute the following specific gift. And person, Catherine, your mom, specific gift, $5,000.
Yeah.
It says, I give the rest and residue of my trust to Carl. And then it says, if Carl, I mean, look at it here, look at it here.
I see it.
No, right here, you can see it really big. I pulled out the key parts for you. If Carl predeceases me, then my trustee shall distribute the rest remaining in equal shares to the then surviving lineal descendants of Carl, is the children. I mean, it would have gone all to you at that point. So if he dies before her and then she dies, then it goes to the children. So there was just a natural progression. Now, there were some more details in there, but that's kind of the...
And that's fine. I felt like there was some shadiness, like something.
You want to come over and look at the damn papers? I got them in a bookcase. You want to read the whole 300 pages.
I see them.
I even asked a preeminent will and trust lawyer to join us today. Estate attorney Ann Margaret Carrozza is here to talk about this. And you believe that he had the right to have this conversation with his mother, right?
Yes.
And isn't it also good public policy? It's kind of in line with the mores and folkways of our society that wealth is passed on generationally.
Absolutely.
So it's not bizarre. I mean, if they went to court and said, well, Judge, we're here because this mother passed her wealth on, wait for it, to her son, the judge is not going to go, what? I mean, that's good public policy. It's mores and folkways of the society, right?
That's the norm, except here we have a change, that there was a point in time where Grandma did specifically name these granddaughters. And how did this change come about? Again, if Carl represented that this money is as good as in Fort Knox with me and the girls are ultimately going to get it, that's terrific.
Yeah, but isn't his story going to go a lot better since he's the only one telling it?
I think you're going to look at the change in the circumstances. Carl said today that he wasn't even aware of this change until after it happened. That would be highly unusual because if the 05 change named you as a co-trustee, you would have had to sign that at the time of the document for it to be valid.
And I did.
So you said earlier that you only heard about it after the change. So I think there's a little issue here.
It was signed... I don't remember when, but I was in California, and it was signed later when I went up to Oregon, where she lived. And but she had said later, after I had this discussion with her, that she said, "Okay, I agree with you. That's what I'll do." She says, "I see your point."
So will there be something there? Well, hang on. This family drama is just getting started. Not only are Lisa and Kathy upset over the will, they also think that Carl might just be doing what I was suggesting, wasting this inheritance money on something that they think is beyond bizarre. And this is where the old mail-order bride, as they call it, from the Ukraine comes into play. That's right. Carl is in love with Natalia. Is that how you pronounce it, Natalia?
She likes the English, Natalie.
Natalie, and he has traveled overseas several times to try to meet her. So is he getting his money's worth? Well, we'll talk about all that when we come back.
I'm interested in girls from Ukraine. I've been to Ukraine twice. When I met Natalia online, we seemed to hit it off, and she's hot. When I got to Ukraine, Natalia had to leave the country. I've offered her small amounts of money. My whole family thinks I'm crazy.
They are not looking for love with him. They are looking for a ticket to the United States.
We're talking to a family divided over an inheritance. Now, on the one side are Lisa and her mother, Kathy, who feel that Carl may have tampered with his mother's will before she died in order to gain most of her inheritance. Now, you've not been specific about how you think he tampered with it. He says, yes, I talked to her about it years in advance and told her I thought she should change the will. Well, April supports her father and feels he has every right to do whatever he wants with the money. But Lisa insists her father is a sexist who doesn't respect women and is wasting the inheritance on a possible catfish scam with a Russian mail-order bride. Yeah, this show is just getting started. Take a look at this.
For 2.5 years, I've been using an international dating website. I'm interested in girls from Ukraine. I've been to Ukraine twice. The first time I went to Ukraine, I met 3 women. We didn't click, so I came back home, got back on the website, found a good-looking lady named Natalia. When I met Natalia online, we seemed to hit it off. Everything from our jobs to what we like in looks, music, pretty much everything. And she's hot. I wanted to meet Natalia, so I went back to Ukraine. When I got to Ukraine, Natalia had to leave the country for 2 weeks to Turkey. She stood me up. I told Natalia, now you play by Carl's rules. You learn English, and you pay your own flight over here. Natalie's going to come visit me 2 times last year, and she found out her passport expired. Next time, the tax inspector says, you don't have your taxes up to date. I've offered her small amounts of money, and she never accepted. Natalia speaks Russian, and I've been studying to learn how to speak Russian. I can say things like, I would like something to eat. Я хотела бы что-нибудь выпить. Я люблю Natalia. I love Natalie. For 2 years now, the only way Natalie and I can communicate is through the agency with a girl named Susan translating. I pay $5 per letter. I've written 215 letters back and forth with Natalie. My total of the 2 trips was $6,000. My whole family thinks I'm crazy to be pursuing a woman 30 years younger than me.
They are not looking for love with him. They are looking for a ticket to the United States.
I think it's fine. If he wants to meet people in Ukraine, do your thing.
I have seen enough Dr. Phil catfish episodes.
He sits in a cubicle in Nigeria.
No, he does not.
His hair is sticking up out of the picture.
Whether he's getting drained financially, I know he's getting drained emotionally.
My mother will say to my dad,
Oh, Carl, have you talked to your teenagers recently?
To me, it's kind of a fantasy that he's gonna see unicorns and rainbows and lollipops, and his life is gonna be the best it's ever been.
I believe she's real. The agency says she's real. Her interpreter claims she's real.
The way that I look at it is that he is spending my inheritance, chasing a dream that's not going to happen.
You are out there.
She's out there.
She's a space cadet.
She's a space cadet.
Natalie's going to take her inheritance, or hers, or anybody else's. I've already discussed with her 2 years ago, if we were to ever get married, she says, I totally agree with you that you should have a prenuptial agreement. Your kids should get what you've earned. There's no reason that I should get any. I don't deserve it. And she said, I agree that once we're married, what we earn together is what they get. And I said, you'd have to sign this prenuptial to say everything goes to them. I said, I have a will for my kids. She said, that's fine. She says, I don't want you to offer me money. I don't want you to send me money. She's told me that at least 10 times. At least. So it's not like these people that blow their 500 grand and say, I thought he was my lover. No.
She have a sexy voice?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her. Okay, yes, she has a sexy voice because you're the hot chick.
Never talked to her?
Great.
No, because she's only learning English. She takes 2 classes a week in English.
You've never
supposedly.
talked to her in Russian?
I have never talked to her.
You never heard her say anything in Russian?
Not a single word. It's all been letters.
Okay, now, come on, listen. Forget it. Forget about these people. Just
Okay,
come on, just
okay.
one old boy to another,
Okay.
okay? This is 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I could pick up a cell phone and call anybody in the world right now. It's not like...
Believe me, I'm totally skeptical. I told her I can only trust her halfway till I meet her.
Okay, but come on. How, in 2 years, you've never heard her voice?
Correct.
When you went to meet Natalie, she wouldn't meet you.
She slid to Turkey, supposedly.
Oh, come on.
I'm determined to prove all these people wrong.
Okay.
This Natalie went to Turkey for 2 weeks. Her interpreter said she did.
You went over there to meet her, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you went to meet Natalie, she wouldn't meet you.
Right. She wasn't there for 2 weeks, and then when she came back...
Did she know you were coming?
Yeah.
And then when you got there...
She slid to Turkey, supposedly.
Oh, come on. Now, what do you...
Okay, I'm a trusting person, and sometimes I can be a fool. But you know what? I'm determined to prove all these people wrong.
Okay. But you said you couldn't drive to go meet Lisa when your mom was in the hospital because you couldn't drive because you'd been drinking because you've had a DUI, right?
Correct.
And you've had actually not one DUI, but 2, 3 DUIs.
3.
Okay, so you drink some.
Yeah, every day.
Okay, and I've said many a time there needs to be a breathalyzer on keyboards. I swear. But
drinking and emailing.
You sit home on this keyboard and you go back and forth with her and you write letters to her, right?
Correct, about 2 a week.
Okay, and here's her profile page. I mean, she says she's in Odessa, Ukraine, English basic, and she says is that a financier? Is that supposed to be financier?
Financier. She owns a company supposedly called the Business Center.
Right. She owns a company called the Business Center, but she can't. Okay, language skills. I can read and write with a dictionary, but can't speak. Okay, we've seen her picture, so we know that she's a very attractive young woman. And you trade emails with her, right? Mm-hmm. And you write to her, and you've written her love letters. You say, "Hello, my honey. Natalie, first, I really like your letter. I think it was the longest letter in our 2 years. Mostly, I worry you will change your feelings about how I look compared to you, the age thing. I truly developed a bond together with you, emotions, and every time I write you a letter, I try to express both me and my emotions and to give each letter an atmosphere so you can feel my presence almost like I'm there." So you have to do this through letters, and then she writes to you, but she writes to you in Russian. "My dearest Carlito, my honey, do you know the meaning of this word as of the sweet thing used instead of sugar? Funny when I say it in Russian. I'm not sure I still want to hear your sex stories, actually. I mean, you can tell me jokes, but not the stories from your life. Do you not know why it somehow makes me feel jealous? Of course I sent the letter to Santa Claus, or Father Frost, as we call him here. Did you know that? I think about life with you, I really do. It's just that no matter how much you think and plan in theory and practice, it's always different, always. Do you not agree with me?" Now, how do you read those letters if they come in Russian?
She writes them, and Susan interprets them. She knows English and Russian. So I write in English, Susan interprets them, but I know she's interpreting them the way I wrote, because when Natalie writes back, she's answering my questions, not some off-the-wall thing that didn't pertain to what I wrote.
So your English to Russian to English...
And then she writes in Russian.
Susan, you pay $5 a letter to get those translated.
Yeah, for
times
her translation and for
215
mine.
letters. So you spent $1,075 translating these letters.
Over 2.5 years, right. Well, sure as hell beats a $100 date with some chick that wants to take me for a $200 dinner. You know, hey, my kicks are $10 a week doing this.
It's a real, like, interaction with a woman, you know, and it's going out and
well,
doing
this
something.
is as good as it gets for now, and like I said, I could fail miserably at this.
Where was she when you went over to see her?
Supposedly in Istanbul on business.
Why wouldn't she stick around the house?
Well, that's in the back of my mind. All right, I'm not stupid. Hey, I'm not stupid.
You think he's getting catfished?
There's obviously someone on the other end writing letters.
Don't you think in 2.5 years something would have happened along those lines?
You say you think he's getting catfished. And by catfish, if y'all haven't seen it, we're talking about people that run love scams on people over the internet, and they do have an MO where they start getting money.
But don't you think in 2.5 years something would have happened along those lines?
I do think he's getting... There's obviously someone on the other end writing letters, but I'm more worried about him getting catfished emotionally and putting all of his eggs in this basket.
Well, you understand, there is an MO that these people follow. And
sure.
If you look, these are the typical things that they talk about. And if you look at this, one of her excuses, they always come up with excuses for why you can't meet them. She said that she was on a business trip. She said she couldn't come because she had a problem, expired visa, passport, can't get out of the airport, stuck in a foreign country. She said due to unrest, she said there's bomb problems in Kiev. She couldn't get there. No computer video chat capability. I mean, you just go through here already, you start seeing, she's starting to hit an awful lot of things here that you're coming up with, that I'm stuck in Turkey, I can't travel, it's too dangerous in Kiev, my passport's expired, she's told you she's got taxes that she has to pay, she's stuck, she can't go because taxes are paid. Some of these things, I mean, she's certainly showing up with problems that show up typical. I mean, this is what the FBI and the Interpol tells you to start. I mean, you just got to know.
I understand that.
And when you went over there, did you get along okay? Did you have any problems when you got over there?
Well, other than language, but a lot of people do speak some English. I got along fine with the other two girls. One I didn't like, one I did. I had fun. Met a Swedish guy in my hotel. We went out and partied hard, for a week. Of course. I told you I drink every day. What am I going to do? But I was very disappointed that she didn't come to my hotel. I got a hold of her through Susan with about 3 days to go on my trip, and I said, you can come to my hotel. You don't have to get arrangements from the management of the dating site. And so she said, no, it's true. And so, it's okay. Das Vidania, I'm going back home. And that's when she wrote and wanted forgiveness. And that's when I said, you need to learn English and pay your own way over here, period. And she said, I'll do it. So we'll see.
And she was supposed to come
September, then
didn't make it.
Toward Christmas, right?
Didn't make it.
Passport. Then didn't get the passport till November. Then they wouldn't. Then she couldn't go before that, all that, because of all the violence in Kiev. That's where they have to go to the U.S. Embassy in Kiev to get their interview for a visa for travel. And then it was the tax inspector, as they call them, said that she has to catch up on her taxes. Otherwise, we're not going to let you go because you could go to the United States and not pay your taxes.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
I do too.
All right, next, we're going to find out why Carl says he will keep paying to go to the Ukraine to find the love of his life, but he won't go to Mexico for his own daughter Lisa's wedding, which is coming up. We'll be right back. Well, we have run out of time. Now, you would think after an inheritance squabble and a Russian mail-order bride drama, we'd be done here. But, oh, no, there is a whole lot more. You're going to find out why Carl flat out refuses to attend his daughter Lisa's upcoming wedding, and get this, why Carl actually doubts that he's the father of Lisa and her twin sister Jennifer. We are just getting started.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My dad is probably not coming to my wedding in Cancun, Mexico.
I don't want to spend $1,500 to go to a wedding.
They fight.
There's no way that I can spend 3 months' rent to go to Mexico
and fight.
I think you guys have a drinking problem.
I think there's a few of us in this family that have a drinking problem.
Are you drunk today?
And fight.
Are you nuts?
I never said
Yes,
that.
you
No,
did.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
When did I say that?
Do not lie.
You have serious issues with your mother.
Can't stand her.
But no one's prepared
You once told him not to call you Dad.
for Dad's shocking accusation.
You question whether Jennifer and Lisa are your daughters.
I have had my doubts.
That's tomorrow.
I'd like to thank all of my guests today. A special thanks to Estate Attorney Ann Margaret Carrozza. Log on to drphil.com and share your thoughts on our message boards. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter using hashtag Dr. Phil or hashtag Divided Over Money. We'll see you tomorrow.
Today on Dr. Phil.
My mom is psychotic.
Her family says she's a raging lunatic.
Your family created about 60 videos of you screaming and attacking.
You make it sound like, I'm the bad one.
You're egging her on.
Go ahead, show me.
This is a family problem.
This house is a landmine.
According to your daughters, you have smashed a toaster oven, packed up doors.
Ask them why.
No, I'm asking you. I don't allow myself to be manipulated, and when she can't run over somebody, she runs away.
Too bad. Deal with it.
Let's do it.
If we're going to do something here that matters, then we got to deal with the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, green. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Okay, now, from the outside, this typical suburban family seems like the picture-perfect version of the American dream, right? Two devoted parents who have been married for 30-plus years and two of their beautiful daughters. But looks, unfortunately, can be very deceiving because while it appears to everyone on the outside that this family just has it all, what's going on inside is something no one would suspect.
Look at the way you act. I'm gonna hurt you so bad.
Susan.
Stop! Grow up there. Take care of that.
Go ahead.
Come on, choke me.
Go
Come
ahead.
on, choke me.
I'm tired of you.
Get your hands off me.
No, I don't have to.
Well, we actually got a letter from 17-year-old Summer. She wrote into the show because she says the past 9 years, her mother has been a raging lunatic. 9 years. Yelling and cursing at everyone and physically attacking her father.
My mom's rages are highly out of control.
Get your hands off me.
She's not even herself.
You don't even know how to parent.
She became a monster.
You dumbass ass.
It's like she's not even there. She's a totally different person. It's just terrifying.
I'm trying to help you and you don't even see it.
She loves to attack my dad, and my dad would just sit there and just take it.
Let's see this. Grow. Stop. Grow up here. Take care of that.
We're talking about choking,
Go ahead.
Come on, choke me.
Go
Come
ahead.
on, choke me.
slapping,
Get your hands off.
No, I won't.
punching.
You get your hands off of me.
Her worst rages is when she is attacking my dad to a point where I feel like I have to call the cops.
Yes, you did.
I don't call cops.
You call. You called the cops. You called.
She's actually threatened to kill him.
Drop dead.
It doesn't end. They'll stop, she'll walk away, and she'll come back again. And she'll keep coming back. You can't get away from it.
I'm tired of you. I'm tired of you. No, I don't have to.
You want to call the cops?
During my mom's rages, she will get a knife and she will stab the doors, like slice it. And she's done it to my door, to my sister's door, and to the walls by our rooms. The names she would call each and every one of us, it was troubling. She would call us whores, trailer trash, bastards. She would say to us all the time. She hates us. She wants us to drop dead. She has a variety of horrible names that she just loves to spill out. My mom is psychotic. She rages every day. It's a non-stop battle with her. It changed everyone's lives. It's like she became this disgusting, disturbing person you don't want to live with, who's terrifying you.
You want to stop this now, right? You want to stop it.
It has to.
So, but this has been going on for 9 years?
Or more.
So, now your mother says differently. She says this all started when her mother-in-law moved into the house and mistreated her.
She was an innocent bystander in this, and actually my mom basically abused her and kind of locked her up in her room.
What triggers? What's the trigger? What makes it happen?
Sometimes my mom, she'll just pick a fight. She'll find something and she will fight about it, and it'll be a constant battle with her. And you can't reason with her. She has to win. Especially, it's all about her. She's the winner.
And she has slapped you across the face.
Yes.
She attacks your father.
Constantly, yes.
Why is she attacking him?
He's always wrong. He can never be right. You know, in any situation, any discussion, he's wrong. You know, if me and my sister do something wrong, it's because of him. If she doesn't, she needs something, something doesn't happen, or just something, he's always wrong. It's always him to blame for. It's him.
And you say, like, for example, she'll take his food at, like, dinner time and yank it away and throw it away and not let him eat.
Or she won't let him eat at all. He can't eat sometimes. He has to eat in my bedroom, or he has to eat in his car. It's gotten that bad.
So what effect has this had on you? I mean, what's your reaction to this?
It disrupted my young teenage years, and I became a horrible teenager. I hated life.
You started doing cocaine?
At 13. I've also done speed. I've done oxycodone. Almost died twice on those.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Yeah,
'cause this is not okay, and I know you're not doing that now.
No, yeah.
I get that. Now, Summer's father, Peter, says that his wife's rages are unbelievably out of control. She's choked him, punched him, taken knives and cut up mattresses, hacked the doors, sliced up paintings, sliced up clothing. Take a look.
When a rage happens, she's uncontrollable. I try not to open my mouth to make it worse, but when you start engaging it, she can come even stronger.
You dumbass ass!
She can call me an idiot, a jackass, a dirtbag, a scumbag. You name it, she could say it in a rage. She thinks I'm not paying attention to her, I'm not listening to her, I'm up to no good. She says, you know, you aggravate me, and that's what happens.
Get some ass! No, I won't!
She has hit, she has slapped, she has punched, she put her hands around my neck. She does come after me.
You are no good from the day you were born.
I used to be very physical with her. I would go after her, grab her by her neck, I would push her, slam her into a wall. I was very physical with her to counteract her coming at me. That stopped many, many years ago. My kids have seen a lot in the house. They've been there when we've had some real bad fights. It bothers me that they have to experience that. I'm at the end of my rope. I'm really trying to hang on.
All right, Peter, thanks for being here. You've been at this for 30 years with this woman? You've been married for 30 years?
I've been married a little over 30 years.
And when did this start? When did the violence, the rages, when did all that spin out of control?
The rages really started after my mother moved into the house.
Okay, well, now your daughter just said that isn't true.
Well, she's always had a temper, but it really got bad when we moved into the new house. And it just catapulted. It's out of control through the years.
Okay, now you say that you had a serious drinking problem.
Or early, when I first met her.
And you were physically aggressive with her.
Yes, I was.
So you guys have kind of gone back and forth at each other for a long time. You quit drinking?
Oh, many, many years ago. Over 26 years ago.
Does she believe that you don't drink?
Not really. Sometimes she says that I have, and it's a fighting situation when I say I don't. She doesn't want to believe me, so I just go with the flow.
I guess my question is, why? Why are you putting up with this? Why are you allowing your children to be subjected to this?
My question was always with the kids, as I explained to them. I said, she put up with a lot of my stuff at the beginning of my marriage. She was there. She hung out through all the bad times. She was there always, and she always backed me 100%. My family started to get into all this arguments and even rages that you see was because due to her health, reasons why. She has so many medical problems. We've went to doctors, and we're getting no results. And the only thing that she's getting is more medicines to take. And I look at the situation, I said, if she hung out with me through the bad times, no matter what the woman does with me, I'm going to be there till the end. I mean, I might be old school, but I'm there till the end.
Have you gotten professional help? Have you been to therapy? Has she had anger management? Have you done anything to try to improve the situation?
Not with anger management, because a lot of times she says, it's my problem. It's my problem.
Well, what have you done to try to improve it?
Truthfully, not that much. I should have done more. I mean,
Because it sounds like, you know, like you're the real hero here saying, hey, she stood by me, I'll stay by her. But beating up on each other, being self-destructive and subjecting your kids to chaos emotionally, mentally, physically, lifestyle-wise, that is not the moral high ground, I'll guarantee you.
No, I know that.
Well, do you, though? And I also saw you in one of these tapes where you're egging her on. You're saying, do it, choke me, choke me, choke me.
That was just like a defense. Rather than me attacking her, I looked at her and said, you're not going to hurt me. And if you want to get it out of your system, go ahead. Which is wrong.
Yeah, okay, we're going to take a break, and we're going to meet the mom whose angry and violent rages we've been watching. Now, we're going to find out what she claims is really going on, and trust me, she doesn't see it anything like these two guys are describing. We'll be right back.
My husband's mentally abusive and a heartless, two-faced, lying user. I scream and I yell, and they can't handle it because I started sticking up for myself. I had enough. I'm not a doormat, and you're not going to walk all over me.
My parents fight all the time. When my mom rages, it's intense and crazy. Her expressions change, and like she just looks so like evil. It's like she was like possessed or something.
She is in your face and she is screaming. It's so scary. I just want to close my door and hide from her.
Now, Peter and his daughter, Summer, say that Susan's rages are unpredictable and they're violent. But as Susan sees it, her whole family has turned against her. She says they treat her no better than they would treat a dog on the street, and she is afraid of her family now, so much so that she sleeps with her bedroom door locked. Take a look.
My hands on you. Joy hurt me the other day.
No, I didn't hurt you.
Oh, you didn't hurt me?
Life in my home right now is totally insane. It's unbearable.
You want an ass?
I blame my husband for this. My husband and I could fight all the time because he frustrates me so much. My husband's mentally abusive and a heartless, two-faced, lying user. I will never get physical with my husband. He'd call the cops on me so fast my head would spin. The only thing that changed me is being miserable with him. What they call my outburst, I cut up 2 of these pillows once and an old mattress. Yeah. I scream and I yell, and they can't handle it because I started sticking up for myself. I had enough. I'm not a doormat, and you're not going to walk all over me. So now my husband and my children are like, Mom's freaking out. She's losing it, man. She's going nuts in this house. And I'm like, no, it's just that you're not going to walk all over me and treat me like crap anymore. And you can't handle that I am standing up for myself. Too bad. Deal with it.
I've been talking to them for just a few minutes before you came out, and they tell a very different story than you do. They say that you are just a rageaholic. 3, 4 more times a day, you just rage, that virtually anything can set you off. You're saying, no, no, no. These people have turned against me. I'm just standing up for myself, and they don't like it. So which is it?
You know what? What they call rage, they're pushing every single button they possibly can. They're uncontrollable. I'm sorry, but you know what? There are certain things that you just don't do. Children should not do certain things. Husbands shouldn't do certain things. You just don't.
Well, how about your behavior? There's certain things that wives and mothers shouldn't do?
Exactly. I know I'm wrong in that. But I've tried everything else. I mean, it's not that I didn't do anything and then I'm raging. For years, I've tried A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and nothing has worked. Nothing. And I'm frustrated. I'm beyond frustrated. I've done everything in the book. But you know what? When you're a parent, you can't parent by yourself. You have to, if there's 2 parents in the house.
Okay, but now wait a minute. Listen, and I'm going to say this to all of you, and we're going to meet another daughter here in a minute, but I'm going to say this to all of you. Are you here to defend what you're doing?
No, I'm not
Or
here to
are you here to try to make this family healthier?
To make it healthier, not to defend what I'm saying.
Before you answer, hear what I'm saying, all of you. And maybe it's just because I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I've gotten to the point that I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time. You can either come here and be completely truthful, or you can come here and try to make a mockery out of this whole situation and waste my time and your chance. Because let me tell you, what people do oftentimes, they come here and they go, okay, whoa, I'm on national television. I got all these people in the audience watching me. I got Dr. Phil asking me questions. I'm going to cover my butt. I'm going to say what I can to come out of this as well as I can and get back out that door and go back to my life. If that's what you want to do, you should go do it now.
No, that's not
Because
what
what you're saying is, no, listen, I finally stood up for myself. According to your daughters, according to your husband, you have broken 2 computers, smashed a toaster oven, torn up picture frames, glasses, clothes, Peter's clothes, stabbed paintings with a knife, hacked up the walls and the doors.
Ask them why.
No, I'm asking you. I don't care why. I'm just asking you if that is true.
Why? Why?
If it is true.
For 11 years, they have run amok. And I mean, they have totally
I'm going to let you say what you want to say, but answer my question first. Are those things true?
Not all of it. They're exaggerating, okay? Yeah. Okay.
Have you smashed up computers, toaster ovens, hacked the walls, monitors?
I broke 1 monitor. I didn't smash up computers. Do you understand they're exaggerating?
Okay. This mattress, did you hack this
mattress
mattress up with a knife? The picture that you're seeing right here.
Yeah, one that I was going to throw away. Do you understand? They're exaggerating.
No, I understand.
Okay, one that I was going to throw away. It was my old mattress we were going to get rid of.
So you actually are here to defend all of this?
I'm not defending anything. I'm not here to defend it. I'm very blunt and honest, but let me explain why.
You've already explained why. You don't need to say it again. Listen, I have a really good memory, so you don't need to tell me things twice.
No.
You said for 11 years they ran amok. For 11 years you didn't stand up for yourself. For 11 years they went insane, and finally you had enough and you stood up. Did I catch it pretty much?
Do you realize what they have done? Did they tell you, or did he tell you, what he has allowed his children to do?
Well, let me see.
I don't know.
Okay, you asked me the question. Let me answer it. You asked the question. Let me answer it.
Let's really be honest. What has he, as a parent, allowed his children to do?
Are you going to let me answer the question?
Go ahead.
Thank you. You asked the question, what have they told me? She said between 13 and 16, she spun totally out of control. She said she aspired to be a porn actress. She was highly promiscuous. She did cocaine, Xanax, ecstasy, marijuana, alcohol, all kinds of things that just almost ended her life with Oxy on 2 occasions. He said he was a drunk, that he attacked you, that he put his hands on you violently, that he was completely out of control, and that you stood by him chapter and verse every step of the way, which is why he won't quit on you now. He said it has been chaotic, the house has been spinning out of control, and then things got really bad when your mother-in-law moved in. Although your daughter says it was bad before that, he said that's when it really spiked up. So I think they've been pretty candid with me. I got about a 250-page notebook on your family.
No.
And so I ask a lot of questions.
There's a big space there, okay? A big space.
Oh, geez, okay.
He has actually literally sat there watching them do all this. Well, I'm standing there going, Pete, get up. Look what they're doing in the backyard on my patio.
Smoking dope and drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Well,
go ahead.
he's on the couch.
Yeah, we went over that.
Doing all this. And I'm watching this day after day, day after day. I'm a parent. Are you out of your mind? You're letting your kids, and you're not helping me take care of them. They're going to kill themselves. My kids, my older kids, I raised. They went to school, came home, did their homework, did chores. They were great. I had no problems with them because he wasn't around. But I was healthy. I was strong. I was in control. Because I got sick.
What you're going to find is that you can't filibuster me.
I'm not trying to filibuster you. What I'm trying
actually, you are.
No, what I'm trying to explain to you is between all of this, between when his mother was alive, the hounding I got, you have no idea the situation that I was in, that I had to go through with these girls, trying to save them from themselves. And he's sitting there, literally sitting there
ignoring everything and adding to it.
Okay, so therefore,
for all these years,
okay, you have to take a breath. You cannot dominate the conversation because I won't let you.
I'm trying to explain to you.
Listen, you're not going to do it.
I'm trying to explain to you.
No, you have explained to me. You haven't told me one thing I didn't already know. You haven't told me one thing that you didn't tell us in pre-interview. You didn't tell me one thing that they didn't tell me along the way. You haven't told me one thing new. We'll be right back.
My dad tried to lock his door a couple of times when it got serious, when she would say stuff to him, threatening his life.
If I knew I wouldn't go to jail, I would have killed him 100 times over already. Would I? No. I'm not stupid. I wouldn't go to jail for him or anybody else.
Are you trying to tell me that what you're doing with your yelling, screaming, raging, and physical attacks on your husband are therefore warranted because they were a bunch of worthless kids and husband?
I didn't say it's warranted. I said I'm frustrated. I said I can't take it anymore.
Okay,
That's
so
why
I can't
I'm
take
ready
it
to
anymore,
leave.
so what's the rest of that sentence? So I'm going to just rage and yell and scream?
No, I told him, I said, I can't take it. You're killing me. I'm ready to leave. You wouldn't feel betrayed if you're sick.
I'm going to talk, so I mean, you can...
Well, you don't want to hear the whole thing. You're breaking the story up in bits and pieces. I'm not always screaming and raging. I mean, what they perceive as rage is when I talk. First of all, I talk very loud.
Your family told us that they had created about 60 videos of you going off and raging and yelling and screaming and attacking. About 60 videos. We didn't create them. They just said, we got these.
I'm the only one. Ask her what she has done to me while he's standing right next to me doing nothing.
You don't need to tell me what to ask her, because I pretty much know how to interview people. This is my job.
What I'm saying is you make it sound like, I'm the bad one.
No, I'm just trying to get facts
I'm
about...
telling you right now. Tell the truth, or I walk.
That's no problem.
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm talking to you. Here, you can threaten him in a minute. I'm just asking you.
No, this is not a show.
This
is my life.
No, it is your life. It is your life.
Because I go home.
Don't get self-righteous with me.
I'm not getting self-righteous.
Okay, so you're leaving.
I don't need this.
Okay, thanks so much for coming. I was very interested in seeing what happened here, and I understand what you're dealing with at this point.
Yeah, okay, what they're dealing with.
Now, my question for you is, are you willing to continue to subject yourself and your kids to this?
No, that's why I figured we can come here. When she told me she contacted you, we could get some help.
Right. And what you're dealing with here is a very strong bias, an abject paranoia, in my opinion, in taking a victim role. Now, the question is there a reason for that? Is there something that's contributing to that? I think the answer to that is yes. I'm going to tell you what I think it is after we take a break. We're going to find out why one daughter says she turned to drugs and alcohol to cope with all this parents' constant fighting and raging back and forth. We're going to talk to her, and then I'm going to tell you what I think's going on here when we come back.
I never want to be home. I pretty much get drunk every night. If I was to the point where I knew I was drunk, I wouldn't care. I'd just continue and continue till I blacked out. My parents fight all the time. Morning, day, night. My home life right now is like a roller coaster. You never know what's gonna happen.
My mom will be very abusive. She loves to choke.
Go ahead.
Come on, choke me.
My mom has now become a person that can't love anymore, who has so much hatred in her heart. She's a very mean person.
Well, that was Summer and her sister Amber talking about how unpredictable their home life has become. They say the constant battles between parents Peter and Susan are completely unbearable. Now, to cope with her chaotic home life, Amber says she learned to escape with a little help. Take a look.
My habits of drinking and partying have gotten a lot worse because of my mom's rages. When my mom does stuff like that to my dad, it upsets me because he doesn't deserve that. He doesn't do anything wrong, and she hits him, and I don't think it's right at all. It has a big effect on me because I don't want to be home at all. I never want to be home. I am depressed. And I feel like going out and just getting drunk puts me in like a happy place where like I have nothing to worry about. I pretty much get drunk every night. I have drank to the point of blacking out. Where I was to the point where I knew I was drunk, I wouldn't care. I'd just continue and continue till like I blacked out.
Okay, you're in your mother's chair because she left. Did you see her backstage?
Yeah, I saw her.
Yeah, what'd she have to say for herself?
She just walked off.
Yeah. My staff tells me that she's in a complete rage backstage. I hate that, but you have to understand, you and I have a very different approach to this. I don't allow myself to be manipulated, and when she can't run over somebody, she runs away. So what I'm going to do is talk to you guys. I'm going to tell you what I would tell you if she was sitting right here. Maybe she'll come back, maybe she won't. Life moves on. You're doing drugs and drinking.
Yeah.
Do you seriously think that's a solution here?
No, I don't.
You did drugs, you drank, you spun out of control, you were drinking, you spun out of control. There are 3 other kids who are out of the home now, and they're saying, look, we've moved on, and so they didn't want to be here, which I totally get. But at some point, we have to make a decision that we're going to start working in the service of health. We're going to start working in the service of what makes things better, right?
Yeah.
Do you get that?
Yes.
Is your life working for you?
At times, yes, and other times, no.
Okay, and how old are you?
20.
So you're not even old enough to be drinking,
No.
but you're drinking to the point that you're actually blacking out. Do you understand what causes that?
No.
There are properties of alcohol that basically contaminate the brain to the point that it can't function anymore. And at some point, you can drink yourself to the point that you'll stop breathing and you'll just die, right?
Yeah.
You're 20.
Yeah.
Do you think she's out of control with drugs and alcohol? Do you think it's a danger to her?
Yeah, and I've gone to battle with her, and she'll lie to me. And then she explains it, and then I try to believe her. Dad, I'm not doing this. I promise, I promise, I promise.
Okay, but you understand, your daughter is drinking to the point of blacking out.
You got it. I didn't know.
Is that all right with you?
No, I had no idea that was happening.
We'll be right back. Have a seat if you like. So what I'm saying here, and you've missed some of this again, is any time I look at a situation like this, I look at the whole family. Now, she's what we call the target patient. She's the one making all the noise, so she's getting all the attention right now. But this isn't a Susan problem. This is a family problem here. This is a family problem. Everybody is being affected by this. She's being affected by you. Are you addicted to prescription drugs?
No.
You're not.
No.
Are you doctor shopping?
No.
You're not hopping around getting pain meds and that sort of thing?
No.
Yeah. Is that true?
No.
It's not true? What is true?
Because of her pain, she has taken prescription medication, and she has gone to other doctors to get different kinds.
I have one doctor. I'm on Percocet. I've been on Percocet for years.
Yeah, that's not good for your health.
I know that, but
Percocet for years, I mean, those two words don't even belong in the same sentence. Percocet for years.
I know, and I've been going to doctors for years.
I really want to help you with this. If you've been taking Percocet for years, you are addicted to prescription drugs. I'm not saying that that's like a illicit thing. It's just one of the side effects of having to rely on pain meds for that long. I mean, I hate that for you.
I have tumors in my kidney. I have 6 or 7, I don't know how many herniated bulging discs.
You need to figure out what's wrong, right?
But this is what I'm saying. I've been doing this for years.
But you want to figure this out, right?
Yes.
But see, my problem is you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And what you're doing now is not good for your health. This rage, and you've got to be burning up your adrenals. You've got to be going through all kinds of hormonal craziness within you, both as perhaps as a contributor and certainly as a product of having so much animated rage. It's terrible for your health. I want to get you to calm down. I want to get some definitive answers about what's going on with you physically. I want to get you detox from these terrible meds that have got a grip on you. I want to do everything I can to help you. Long-term use of Percocet is terrible for you.
And it doesn't even work after all these years.
Of course it doesn't. In fact, it can begin to exacerbate your pain syndrome. It can make your brain toxic. It can make your impulse control almost non-existent. It could explain almost everything associated with the behavior that these guys are talking about.
No. I started just opening my mouth when I couldn't take it anymore because of him, our marriage. It was just out of control. The girls became out of control. I was concerned for the girls.
Yeah, you missed that. We talked about that before. I said this whole family is spinning out of control. There's no question about it. Listen, you have some very legitimate complaints here. You just have a very illegitimate way of expressing them. You have legitimate complaints. You do. Susan, hear me. You do. I mean, your daughter was spinning out of control. Your husband was an alcoholic. He was putting his hands on you, slapping you, throwing you up against the wall. This daughter's now drinking to the point of blackout and messing around with other drugs in your backyard. It is insane. This is craziness of the highest order. Everybody needs to calm down. You're just the one that's making the most noise, so you get the most attention. If I focused completely on you and ignored them, this would never get better because they would continue to trigger behavior in you. So I have to work on everything here, everybody, right? It isn't just you. You just got mad and left before I could get to that. All right, we got to take a break. Next, Susan says that she's got 1 foot out the door, is seriously contemplating divorce. Maybe that's the best thing to do, but it won't fix the problems. We'll be right back.
My husband lies about everything. The deceitfulness. I don't trust him. Pete's a very good liar. He'll never once confess.
She has like so many like theories against him, that he's cheating on her, that he's an alcoholic. They're all lies in my opinion.
My dad will never be right. It's always, he's lying, he's doing this, he's doing that. But he's not. He'll never win.
I want to make this work with my wife. I've always said to her, no matter what has gone down in our past, I'm there for you. I do love you, and I'm trying to make the situation better.
I don't feel anything for my husband at all. Do I love him? I can't sit here and say I do love him. I have 1 foot out the door. I know I tried everything.
Well, that was Peter and Susan talking about their feelings for one another. After more than 30 years of marriage, Susan says she is seriously considering getting divorced. Susan thinks Peter's cheating on her, has secret bank accounts, and is constantly lying. Are those things true?
No.
Are you cheating?
No.
Do you have a secret bank account?
No.
Okay, so you're prepared to be just completely
honest. Yeah, open and honest.
All right, Amber's not the only member of the family who's turned to drugs and alcohol to escape the craziness going on at home. Let's talk about what Summer has gone through. I want to get all this on the table, and then I'm going to tell everybody what I think needs to happen here. We talked about this a little bit. Let's take a look.
I was addicted to drugs, I was addicted to sex, I was addicted to partying. I was promiscuous at a very young age. First time I actually had sex, it was with 2 guys at 13. And up to 16, I had slept with about 22 guys. A lot of drug abuse did affect my life. The first drug I ever did was cocaine when I was 13, and then it went to speed. 2 times I almost died from oxycodones. I was a very, very highly out of control teenager. I met this older guy in his mid-30s. We got really high. I just wanted to go to sleep. He said that I can go to sleep in his bed and he'll take the couch. I was sleeping, it kind of felt like someone was hovering over me. I can just feel my pants were not on. I don't know if I was raped, but I did feel something down there and shouldn't have happened. That was also a very difficult time of my life. I felt like I deserved that because of my past. It was my fault that happened. And for months, I couldn't get over that.
Have you or you heard her speak candidly about this before?
Not all that, no.
Have you?
No, but I knew a lot of this stuff was going on, and that's why I just couldn't take it anymore. That's why I blame him, and I'm angry with him.
Well, where were you? You say it was his fault. Where were you during this time? Why do you blame him instead of the two of you owning this together?
That's what I used to fight about. He would sit there and he'd allow so much to go on. There was days that I couldn't walk 2 steps. And I'm like, Pete, she's out of control. She's doing this, this, and this. He'd brush it off.
Yeah, well, brushing it off is over with here. Guys, listen, you've got 2 beautiful daughters here still at home. And, you know, they're lovely, intelligent women. And you're currently making some really bad choices. You've made some really bad choices in the past. But you got a serious wake-up call, right?
Yeah, I did.
And so you're living a much more constructive life at this point?
Yes.
You know, and I get what you're saying. I'm not big on help you. What it does is just you wind up with a monkey on your back and a chaotic. 2 wrongs don't make a right, and that's exactly what's happening here. You got a wrong-headed family and a wrong-headed way of coping with it, and those 2 things are going to create real trouble for you if that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Okay? And you guys, look, I don't know whether you should get a divorce or you want to get a divorce. You say you've got 1 foot out the door. If you're going to go, go. I mean, if that's what you're going to do. But I think it is worthwhile for us to take a really, really hard look at trying to get you some relief. I have 2 immediate concerns. One is figuring out what's going on with you physically so you stop poisoning yourself with the wrong kind of meds, and you stopping this drug and alcohol abuse. Those are acute issues with me that need to stop. And you can either stop it or you're going to wind up in serious trouble. I mean, I'm telling you, it's going to spin out of control here.
I feel like it just makes me happy because everything that goes on at home.
No, it doesn't make you happy. It anesthetizes you so you don't feel. That doesn't change anything. It just, I mean, you still got the same problems when you sober up.
I just worry about these girls so much.
Okay, well, we're going to work.
When they're out the door, I don't sleep. I stay up until I know they're home.
Yeah, well, reinforcements have arrived, right? I mean, I'm here.
I don't want to lose them.
And I don't want to lose you. Yeah. Well, take care of their mother then and give them some peace. Are y'all willing to work on this?
Yes.
Yeah. This is just a beginning here. All right, we'll talk again. We'll be right back. I want to thank you guys for being here today for a number of reasons. One, you guys are teaching tools. There are a lot of families sitting home watching that have parts or pieces or all of this, and they hear what we talk about, acknowledgments that are made, ideas that come up, and hopefully it helps them. And I always say, if you're seeing anger, it's really either hurt, fear, or frustration. And with you, I think it's all 3. I think there's a lot of fear. Now, you got all sideways with me, left, and then came back. But when you came back, we had a very rational conversation, don't you think? Which means you can do that. I'm always rational. But you came back and you were rational. And there is a chance that we can really figure out some things that are going on. And I think you are going to be stunned at how much of what's going on with you is biochemical. And I think we can really work to get that under control. Listen, we're going to talk about this because you need to stop what you're doing. You know, you don't need to go to some type of convent, but you have to stop what you're doing because it's not a good pattern. And that just seems to run through this whole family here. This has got to stop.
You got it.
And you're going to have to take a leadership position here.
You got it.
And get active. So I'm going to be calling on you to do some things. We'll talk to you guys again, okay? We got a plan?
Yeah.
Got a plan?
Yes.
You actually have a very nice smile, by the way. All right. For more information on today's show and coping with chronic illness, anger, management, overcoming addiction, log on to drphil.com. Life has to be managed. We're going to talk to them again. Thanks for being here. So long. Bye.
Today on Dr. Phil, her ex blames her for their son's death.
You killed the boy.
And I got acquitted on all counts.
What happened that night?
She bought him beer, vodka.
Did you ever buy alcohol with Brandon?
No.
Was your son drinking that night?
I didn't think he was drinking.
He was standing with a drink in his hand, and you didn't think he was drinking?
Heather took way too much medication. You were sitting with my son, and you fell on his lap. You were unresponsive. I pounded on your chest. I'm done with you. Once you realize that you have a problem... I don't need you. I don't need you.
Are you on medication?
Minimal.
Because you're slurring your words. She threw a temper tantrum in the hotel room.
Am I going to get my word to talk? This is my story. You don't know your information like you think you do.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Wilson, take
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Well, my first guest, Heather, initially found herself in the headlines back in 1999 when she was involved in a deadly car crash that killed her fiancé, a wealthy Connecticut businessman named Neil Esposito. Now, prosecutors charged Heather with second-degree manslaughter because they claimed she was behind the wheel of the car as it reportedly traveled 120 miles an hour, throwing her fiancé out of the vehicle. In 2004, she went on trial for his death, but her defense attorney argued what was later dubbed the Lewinsky defense. He claimed Heather may have been performing a sex act since Neil Esposito's body was found with his pants down. Now, Heather was eventually acquitted, but just 4 years later, Heather found her name plastered across the headlines again. This time, it hit much closer to home. It was her son, Brandon, that tragically died 5 years ago. Heather's ex-husband, Brian, says he believes 100% that she is guilty for that child's death.
My ex-wife, Heather, is delusional. Heather believes that she had nothing to do with my son Brandon's death, and she had everything to do with his death. The night that Brandon passed away, I wasn't there. So what I know is Brandon asked Heather to buy him alcohol. She obliged. She bought him beer. She bought him vodka. She picked up one of his friends, Chris. She brought him back to the house. At 12 o'clock, Chris passes out. So Brandon still wants to continue to drink, so he calls his friend Travis, who lives down the road. He goes and tells Heather, I'm gonna go pick up Travis. He grabs her keys. She allows it. Comes back, drinks some more, goes into her room, takes her morphine tablets. He crushes them up. They snort them up their nose, and they continue to drink. Travis decides he wants to go home. Heather comes out in her own testimony and says Brandon was too drunk to drive. He was belligerent. He was falling into the walls. She drives Travis home. She comes back. Brandon is fading in the back seat as if he wants to sleep. So she comes inside to get him a pillow and a blanket. And when she comes inside, and this is the most important part, a 15-year-old, Chris points out to her that Brandon has consumed a large amount of alcohol. And he points to the prescription medication and he says, I think we should take him to the hospital. I'm sure Heather quickly thought to herself, boy, if I take him to the hospital, I'm gonna be in big trouble because I supplied this stuff for them. So instead of, she decides to grab a pillow blanket and go check on him every once in a while, but doesn't go ever check on him. Brandon ended up dying sometime in the early morning hours between 9 and 10 o'clock. Heather never called 911. She called me first. She was hysterical, and she said, "I killed my baby, I killed my baby." That's what she was screaming on the phone. What kind of animal is she? She's a monster.
But Heather says there was no way she could have saved Brandon, and she wants her ex-husband to stop pointing the finger at her.
The night Brandon went to heaven, it was a Saturday before he was starting to start up school again. I said, "Mommy's got to go to bed early. You got to be a good boy, etc., etc." And he agreed to it. I had no idea. I know the place was a mess, and I did see them trying to drink. And I grabbed it from them, and I put it down the drain. And then I ended up falling asleep. Next thing, Brandon came in and started, trying to get aspirin over my head. And then the third time, there was this kid standing there, and apparently Brandon took my rental car, went down the street and picked him up. His name was Travis. I did not know that they were snorting up their nose, straight into their brain, my medication that was prescribed to me. I brought Travis home. By the time I got back, he was like laid down and he was almost asleep in the car. He had a shot of vodka, before that. Nothing to be major, like not to bring him to the hospital or anything. I was actually, oh good, he's sleeping. I gave him a pillow and a blanket and gave him a kiss goodnight. I said goodnight, my baby, and I didn't know that was the last time. Woke up, he was unresponsive in the car. And that's when I started screaming, my baby's dead.
Okay. First off, I have to say, whatever happened here, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I mean, what
Thank
a
you.
terrible thing. One thing you won't hear me say today is I know how you feel.
Nor should you.
If you haven't buried a child, you just can't imagine. You believe she's responsible for his death?
Not just me. Department of Children and Family Services, the police, the judges in the civil case, they all think she's guilty, yes.
But she was charged criminally as well.
Yes, sir.
For manslaughter, and she was acquitted.
Yes, sir.
Why is that? If she's guilty of his death, why was she acquitted?
Yes, Brian, why?
Well, the difference in when you go into court is the judge didn't allow all the information. You'll see today that there's some other kids that are here to testify against her that the judge didn't allow. The judge said that he wanted to have all the information from the summer of '08, and he didn't think that the information
Including
prior to that time was
including
pertinent.
all your DCF packet of your abuse, Brian, was not allowed in.
Okay.
And you were always seen as the victim.
Okay.
That is not right, because you hurt him terribly. He was
But I
in
didn't kill
horrible
him.
depression.
I didn't kill
You're
him.
the one who should have taken care of him. I was too sick. I am not sick anymore. I am not on all those medications. I went through that gallbladder
then
surgery.
admit that you
I
killed
should
him and
have
moved
never
forward.
had him. You put him in my care. You should have been responsible, not me. My mother and father were taking care of me. You were supposed to know where Brandon was. Shame on you, Brian.
And did you had custody at the time, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he was staying with Heather for part of the summer.
Yes, sir.
Which was in
Why is
excess
that?
of the
Why is
custody
that?
agreement.
Because your abuse.
Yes, sir.
And why
Black
was
eye,
he staying
broken
with her?
nose.
I'm sorry?
Why was he staying with her?
Well, he was a great kid up until 13, 14. He started having some problems. And
Once
coincidentally,
Najee died.
those problems were stemming from Heather giving them alcohol and drugs at the time. So what happened, I had rules. You had to go to school, you had to get up, you had to do your homework, all those types of things. And so Brandon would come to me and say, I want to go to mommy's, I want to go to mommy's, I want to go to mommy's. So, because he wanted to help take care of her. She wasn't well, but she certainly was cognizant, she functioned, she went to the grocery shop, she did all the things she was supposed to be doing.
Okay, I'm just asking you why he was there. Did you tell him, okay, go stay with your mother so you can see what a loser she is?
I did.
You said that to him?
I did.
Why would a father say that to a child? And if you knew she was sick, if you knew she was on drugs or whatever your theory might be at the time, why would you, the custodial parent, consciously put him with someone that you felt was inadequate to take care of him. This happened on your watch.
Well, there's a difference between...
You're the custodial parent.
Correct. And there's a difference between being inadequate and being a loser. My gamble with Brandon was I wanted him to see... This woman sleeps till 3 in the afternoon.
And you knew that?
Because
That's correct.
I was
but
sick.
There's a difference, Dr.
I've had
Phil,
80
between...
surgeries.
Okay.
How can you...
All right, hold on a minute. But I
There's
just
a
want
difference
to be sure that I'm clear about this, because, look, as
All he's doing is lying.
from the standpoint of a forensic psychology perspective, I always, when I worked in that role in the court system, I was evaluating parental judgment, problem solving, what kind of environment they were providing, what kind of supervision they were providing. And you're telling me as a custodial parent, you've got a woman over here sleeping till 3 o'clock in the afternoon and having problems, and you consciously send your son there?
Well, there's a difference between... If you asked me at that time, with the events of this night, which are very, very troublesome, obviously, was this woman capable of not handling Brandon or taking care of him? That's different than showing a lifestyle of someone that is, like I said, a loser. You're talking about two different things. Did I think she would ever do what she did? Did I think that she was capable of
Brian, you not only
of
called
killing
me
her
a
son,
loser,
of
you
killing this son?
called my whole family dumb as rocks.
All right, hold on.
I understand what you're saying. And I have 4 children now. I do have my
Okay,
wife.
I just wanted to see if I understood it
understand.
correctly. And
I understand.
you're making a distinction without a difference, in my opinion, because if you're the custodial parent, it's your responsibility to make sure he's in the right environment, and you put him in that environment. I just wanted to be sure we were clear on that.
Let's be clear. I had no knowledge that she was giving anyone alcohol and drugs at any time prior to this. No, I did not
Where'd
think
you think
that.
he was getting them?
I didn't know he was... Well, besides that, maybe school. I don't...
You said that
Heather and I actually... Heather and I worked at this together. We worked together to get him help. We went to counseling together. We put him in Natchog Hospital together.
Well, you're going to get a chance to say it. No, you're going to get a chance to say it.
He went to a psychologist after you broke his nose, and they gave him medication. You told him you don't need that, so he couldn't sleep. That put him in horrible depression. On your clock, Brian, not on mine. Shame on you.
You killed the boy. You got arrested for it, and you got DCF said it,
and I got acquitted on all counts, Brian.
Okay.
Because you went on TV.
So he killed himself.
Went in the
Did he kill
paper.
himself? Did he kill himself? Oh, he did?
He must
Did I
have.
kill him? Was I there that night? Was I there? I was there, right? I was there?
You were there many times.
I was there that night when he died.
So-and-so?
Okay.
All right, stop. By our math of your reports and the others that were there, your son consumed approximately 22 beers, 4 or 5 shots of vodka, took 3 morphine tablets, and sniffed 4 rails of morphine. You said you wanted to talk. This is your chance. And later...
We've been friends for 25 years. And last night, what you did to me and my 11-year-old son is unforgivable, Heather. You were absolutely lifeless, Heather. I thought you were dead.
Did you strike the boy in the face?
Yes, I did.
Okay, you struck the boy in the face.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you were physically abusing him.
No, absolutely not.
How
Okay.
can you say that?
Was this
he came with black eyes
He
on
didn't
him.
come with a... Okay, listen.
He said,
I
Mommy,
walked in...
take a picture.
Dr. Phil, you have to give me an opportunity here.
No, I've given you an opportunity.
All you're doing is talking.
You need to stop talking.
I'm sorry. I'm very upset.
You're going to get a chance. Seriously, you're going to get a chance. You're going to get a chance. You just stop talking. I want to see what we can agree on here.
Okay, you're asking if I'm a custodial
you have
parent.
to be, you talk about people are coming here to testify. This isn't a court, but you will help yourself if you will be responsive to my questions.
Absolutely.
So I'm just trying to get a few things clear.
I understand.
This child died on your watch. You were the custodial parent. That's a yes or no. It's not an essay.
No.
Okay, you were not the custodial parent. Then I've got wrong information.
Custody means who he was with. He was with her. Custodial, he was with her. Were you incapable of taking care of Brandon?
Yes, I was.
Did you ever say that to me? Did you ever say that to me?
He came to
Did you
my
ever say-
door. You packed his. You told
Okay,
him
listen,
to pack
you
his
two,
bag.
listen, stop. You two
My
don't.
mother picked-
You two don't need me here to bicker back and forth.
I'm sorry. I just can't deal with his allegations.
I don't think
They're
you're
all
wanting to have a genuine conversation here, because if you're wanting to play semantics with me on what custodial means,
You're picking the wrong fight.
Okay, so we had joint custody. I had primary residency. And let me finish this. If I thought that my ex-wife was capable of what she did that night, if I thought that she was that bad, I never would have sent him to the house.
Didn't say you did.
Okay.
You have no idea where I'm going. We're just not there yet because you want to filibuster.
Okay. I'm sorry.
I want to talk about what happened that night. You said you wanted to talk. This is your chance.
Thank you.
Did you or did you not buy these minors alcohol?
No, I did not, Dr. Phil.
You did not. You understand that by our math of your reports and the others that were there, that your son consumed approximately 22 beers, 4 or 5 shots of vodka, took 3 morphine tablets, and sniffed 4 rails of morphine.
That's the allegations, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what people that were there say. Now, do you dispute that?
I do.
What do you dispute, the count, or do you dispute?
No, I don't know how much.
Was your son drinking that night?
I walked out and I assumed he was because he had a vodka. He had one of those shots of vodka in his hand. And I took it away from him and I dumped it. I don't know where the vodka came from. I don't know where he got the beer. All of the kids that allege that I bought this alcohol the day of, the day before, day after, never was I seen anywhere buying alcohol. I don't drink. I don't know where they got the alcohol, but it is a little kind of fishy that up the street is a package store that put it up for the sale after I got arrested. So maybe that's where they got it. I don't know. They used my house as a party house when we were building it when he was in his care. He didn't even know where he was.
Are you telling me that you knew your son was drinking that night?
I didn't think he was drinking. I thought
you walked into the kitchen and he was standing with a drink in his hand, and you didn't think he was drinking?
Well, maybe I didn't think that it was enough to take him. Maybe.
Come on, I didn't ask you if you thought it was enough to take him to the hospital. I asked you if you knew that your minor son was imbibing alcohol in your home under your supervision. That's a yes or no question.
Yes.
It's not an essay. It's a yes or no question. Okay? So you knew he was drinking. You didn't know he was taking the other drugs, but you knew he was drinking.
I assumed he had something, yes.
Mm-hmm. Are you on medication now?
Minimal.
Because you're slurring your words. I'm just telling you, you're slurring your words as you talk. So
I have brain injury, Dr. Phil.
Okay, well, explain that. That's why I want you to have a chance to explain this.
Mm-hmm. So these things that happened to me, even the accident that happened, has been completely erased from my mind. I have bits and pieces in my head. But even that day of Brandon's death is a very vague. I do remember my mom and dad getting there and rocking mm-hmm. and saying, my baby's dead, my baby's dead, while he was punching the police out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you knew that your son was drinking that night, and he's underage, and you knew that. Why was that okay with you?
It wasn't okay with me. I never said it was okay.
What did you do about it? When you found him drinking?
I took Travis home. I poured the vodka down the drain. You know, you got to keep in mind, Dr. Phil, I should not have even been in that situation because
I didn't ask you if you should or shouldn't. You were. I'm just asking you what you did. I'm just asking you what you did once you were in the situation.
I was
you two want to talk about things that I'm not asking
been in that situation.
Because you don't like my questions. But I'm asking you, did you know that this child was drinking in your house under your supervision that night? And you said yes.
It's not illegal to have alcohol in your house.
I didn't ask you for an interpretation of the law. I asked you if you knew your minor son was drinking in your house that night, and you said yes.
Yes, I did, but I did not think that he had to go to the hospital. I did not think he was at that point.
I didn't. Okay, I'm not saying you did. I'm just trying to get to some facts here.
I mean, you got to understand This is my life here. That he's gone on television. I mean, I have been in the news for the last 10 years and have had 80 surgeries. So if I'm slurring a little bit, I may be a little nervous, Dr. Phil. I'm in front of all these people in the whole world trying to tell everybody about his abuse to my child that put him in depression when he should have gotten help for him when I was too sick.
You don't remember because you don't choose to remember.
Heather,
you said this.
May possibly.
Heather,
I don't know.
Heather, Heather, over here.
I'm not going to talk to him.
Well, I'm trying to get you to talk to me. And later.
Am I going to get my word to talk here? It's my story. I came here. I know people are giggling, but nobody has lived my life.
They're not laughing because it's funny. They're laughing because it is ridiculous. Go ahead. Did you know that your son was drinking beer that night?
No.
Did you know his friends were drinking beer?
No.
Because by count, we're talking between a case and 2 cases of beer. Where was it all going? Where were the empties? Where were the bottles? Where was that all happening?
A typical 15, 16-year-old, we've all been there, lie. They lie to do what they want to do.
Beer cans were on the counter in front of you, all of them. There's a picture
They were
of
in
those.
front of me?
Yeah.
Was there a picture with me in front of the counter?
You had to walk right by them to get to your car. As a matter of fact, then you come back and you say to the policeman, I knew he was drinking and I knew that he did lines of morphine. I have the quote if you'd like to.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
Here's what it says. These are your words.
I would never have said that,
Here's what
Brian.
it says. Brandon then got
What is
confrontation
this
with
you
me
wrote up?
and started. These are your words. And Detective Abosi, arrest warrant application, Heather states. Brandon then got confrontation with me and started shoving me. He was very out of it. He could barely walk. I thought maybe he had too much beer. When I first got home from dropping off Travis and leaving Brandon in the car, I went in the house and started to clean up the mess. There was spilled beer on the counter, and I found that he had ground up some of my morphine. There was powder left, and I did find about 5 morphine pills that I could salvage. I put them back in the container. Those are your words. Those are your words.
I did not say that, Brian.
This is an arrest warrant signed by you, signed by the cop. These are your words. I just read
Daniel Bavosi got up on that stand and did not say anything like that.
You want us to get the arrest warrant? I have it.
Okay.
So does Dr.
Wait a minute.
Phil. Those are your words. You don't remember because you don't choose to remember.
Heather,
you said this.
May possibly.
Heather,
I don't know.
Possibly.
Heather, over here. I'm trying to figure out what was going on that night so I have some sense of what you know. And in that, I have examined the police reports. Mm-hmm. There are statements that you signed.
When they told me Brandon had gone.
And you changed your story when you were talking to us when we were asking you questions about what happened that night.
It's confusing
what you told
to
the producers and what you told the police. There are clear contradictions there that caused me a problem.
I know that they were drinking, but I didn't think, any of them were that out of it.
That's the problem. And he died because you didn't think.
I have brain injury, Brian. I should not have been in that situation.
But you're cognizant enough to make this statement and function and be there.
No, because that was taken. They gave me a shoe out of it, and
accept the responsibility.
When I was told at the hospital, Brandon was gone, I passed out on the floor. They gave me a huge shot.
This is after the fact.
No. Detective Bavosi came in after I got that show in front of my mother. Okay. And my mother said that I did not say any of that stuff.
So she was a ventriloquist, and she had her hand behind you, and you were just doing the words. Those are your words or her words? Because they were your words.
I'm not going to talk to him. Because
I'm trying to get you to talk to me. I keep trying to get you to talk to me, and you want to argue with him.
I don't want to argue. I want him gone. I want him gone out of my life.
Okay,
but he has ruined my life going in these. Okay, go ahead.
I ruined yours.
Then talk to me.
Yes, you have. I am a mother that lost a child, too.
I thought you didn't want to talk to him.
I'm sorry.
I thought you wanted to talk to me.
His face, he just,
Last night, Heather took 39 narcotics. You were lifeless, Heather, and I pounded on your chest. Your eyes rolled in the back of your head, and then your mouth fell open. You were unresponsive for 3 minutes.
And later, next week...
That was my child, Brian.
You killed our son. Admit it. Admit it. You're a drug addict, and you killed our son.
You're here because you want to get this story out, correct?
I want my life to go on, and what has happened to me?
Do you think your behavior is sincere and consistent?
Absolutely.
Because I have a card here of your behavior prior to the show, according to your friend Bernice. Thank you for being here. She said when it came time to come to the show, you demanded first-class flights to L.A., and you lied to the Dr. Phil staff and said that you were promised first class and that you cursed out the airline staff and the hotel staff. Is that true?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I cursed out the airlines?
Right.
No, I did not.
And
they did tell
and the
me
hotel staff.
because of my hip replacement and all of my metal in me that I was going to be put. The only reason why we got put in coach is because we missed the first flight. Because
Did
of the
you
snow.
say to Bernice, quote, I'm going to be a star now. It's all about Heather. The world revolves around Heather.
No, I would never have said that.
Did she say that to you?
We've been friends for 25 years.
You
I
can't
came to
support her by
support-
enabling her. I'm asking you if she said that.
Absolutely.
Is she lying?
Heather, you embarrassed me the whole time we were here. And last night, what you did to me and my 11-year-old son is unforgivable, Heather.
And what happened?
Heather took way too much medication. She took 39 narcotics within 20 hours from when we left to go to the airport at 12 o'clock in the afternoon until last evening when she was so bad at the mall, she was falling over. My son was trying to hold on to her, my 11-year-old son. You were so bad, Heather. You were so incoherent. You had no clue what was going on. You were clueless, Heather. We got into the taxi. And I know you don't remember this. You were sitting in the back seat
I know.
with
I
my
should
son,
have
Heather,
never.
and you fell on his lap. The taxi driver pulled over on the side of the road, Heather. My 11-year-old son is so scared because he thought you were dead, Heather. You were absolutely lifeless, Heather. I thought you were dead.
And
because
you know
what I did to save your life, Heather.
I wish I had
what
died.
I did to save your life, Heather, you don't remember. You were unresponsive for 3 minutes. And I sat back there, Heather, and I pounded on your chest. I pounded so hard that you probably have bruises. I slapped you across the face. It was a slap, a slap, a slap. Your eyes rolled in the back of your head. You started seizing, and then your mouth fell open. My son had to witness all this, Heather, my 11-year-old son. The taxi driver drove her to the hospital, and they had to get her out of the car. She was completely lifeless, completely lifeless. She had to get out of they had to carry her out of the car, and then all of a sudden she started coming to, and she's like, what's going on? Oh, I'm just tired. It's Bernice's fault because she pushed me to go to the mall. Now, we were at the mall for 2 hours, but she failed to let the staff know that she sat for 45 minutes getting her fingernails done. And she ran store to store to store to have a personal shopper pick an outfit out for her. I was so scared, Heather. I cannot believe you did this to me.
You counted her pills before you left Connecticut.
I did.
And then you counted them here. That's how you know how many were gone.
Absolutely.
Before all of this even happened, she threw a temper tantrum in the hotel room
where
talking to my
out,
staff
Dr. Phil.
and threw your phone.
She threw my
No,
phone.
I did not. I did
and the
not
night
throw
that
the phone.
She took. She was so not last night. The night before.
Am I going to get my
she was
word
so
of talking?
drugged
It's
up.
my story. I
Yeah.
came here.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
asked you for help.
She was so drugged up, Dr. Phil, the night before. I had taken her pills, and I was holding on to her pills.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where she came, I guess, snuck all the pills because I was trying to hold
Snuck
on to them. And when I walked into the hotel room after being downstairs, I walked into the hotel room, and my whole entire purse was thrown all over the floor. And my son walked in and said, "Mom, what happened?" She was down on her hands and knees trying to search for her bottles of pills. And not just one bottle of pill.
Okay, you wanted to speak? The floor is yours.
Yes, I do. I don't even know what to say about this whole situation. Literally, I know people are giggling, but nobody has
Let me
lived
tell
my
you,
life.
they're not laughing because it's funny. They're laughing because it is ridiculous. Go ahead. What is ridiculous? No, you asked me. You asked me a question. No, you asked me a question, and the way this works is you ask a question, I get to answer. You said, "What is ridiculous?" You have a friend here.
And I would never do this, but she needs help, Dr. Phil.
You have a friend here that cares enough about you to tell the truth, and you fail to acknowledge that.
I'm going to sit here and have you say that to me because that is not true.
I'm telling you what his...
You're telling you what you think in your opinion because you don't know your information like you think you do.
The floor now is yours again.
Okay. After my son died, I wanted to die with him. That is correct. I was on 160 milligrams of morphine because to wean off of OxyContin is a horrible wean. And it doesn't wean, or even fentanyl patches. It goes from 100 to 75. It's too much of a jump for me. I did not want to go on morphine because that's what my son died from, because he learned it from his father to snort up his nose. Because his father, one time, Brandon came to me and said both him and his wife accused him of stealing a bag of cocaine. That's well known. So with that being known, back to me.
Heather, you could have refused
No.
doctor
It's my turn. It's my turn.
You could have told
my
your
turn.
doctor, I don't want morphine. My son died.
I told her that.
You did not, Heather. If you told her that, she wouldn't be giving you morphine.
With her?
She wouldn't be giving you morphine. I almost lost my best friend last night.
My doctor testified in the trial. Do we have those documents?
We're talking about last night.
Last night, Heather, you died on me. I believe you stopped
Last night,
breathing.
I went in the hospital. I should have brought the records. They found something that's twisted in my stomach. They found 3 more kidney stones in my left.
No, they did not.
It says right there. Did you not read it?
Heather, I was in contact with the doctors all night.
I'm done with you.
I know
oh my
you're
God.
going to hate
you know
me,
what?
Heather.
My mom and dad told me about you.
I know you're going to hate me, Heather, and I'm okay with that. Because once you realize that you have a problem...
I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. All I want is Dr. Phil. I'm here
for you.
Because everybody has tried to ruin my reputation. Including this. Colby, her child, I mean, she fought for her child. She actually made me lie to get him on the plane. And I didn't think any children should even be here. Period. End of discussion. She's the one who pushed that. She pushed that, not me. Okay. I did not want a child to be here. I wanted to call you. I'm going to call you with help because he took a website to bash me. Everybody hated me. I can't even go out. I don't even want to go out of the house now because people point their fingers at me. I want to see how, because I was acquitted of both charges in a court of law. DCF has their own rules. Obviously, we have a packet this thick worth of his abuse to my child, which put him in depression, which made him self-medicate, which I brought him to his doctor many, many times. They told him, Brandon, before I know you have sleeping problems. You know, I took him to a sleeping doctor. They said, before you start self-medicating, please tell me. I took him over and over again. He did not. He was never around.
By the way, if it helps you to understand, I don't endorse all of his parenting decisions, and he has been very forthcoming with us about the fact that he didn't always make the best decisions and choices as a father, correct?
Yes, sir.
He's been very forthcoming about that. He's not proud of all the choices that he made. But what he's trying to get to the bottom of...
I'm forthcoming in saying that I was very sick and I had no business even... That's why I gave him to Brian.
What he seems to be focused on now is that you allowed your son to abuse drugs and alcohol.
No, I did not.
With your full knowledge, and you came back and left him in the back seat of the car.
I am not going to sit here and have you say that to me, because that is not true.
I'm telling you what his...
You're telling you what you think in your opinion. Just like Cyril Wett, when you brought him on, he was indicted in 85 counts. That's why I called into your show, because you don't know your information like you think you do. Dr. Henry Lee and Cyril Webb both were testifying against me. You brought two kids, and you said, oh, well, they have, they're on a high horse, when they're not. I had to settle because Cyril Webb got indicted in 85 counts. Look it up.
As I was saying, he is very upset that you left your son in the back seat knowing that he had been drinking and knowing after you came into the house that Chris pointed out to you that he had gotten pills out of your purse. He came back in a second time. He did get your purse this time.
You're telling me things that aren't true, that have been proven in court that are not true.
No, that's not right. These things have not been proven.
Why aren't I in jail then? If I am such an awful person and I killed my son, shouldn't I be squirreled away in jail somewhere?
I don't think...
This was a mistake on my part to allow him to go to her house.
Clearly.
That was my child, Brian.
Then you should have called. You shouldn't allow them to be doing it. You killed our son.
First off, I don't think you're an awful person. I think you have made some awful judgments. I think you have made some awful decisions. And I think you are addicted to prescription medication.
Absolutely.
And I think it has changed. And I think that it has changed the way you think, reason, and recall what's going on in your life. And that's what I believe. Look at me. I don't believe you're a horrible person. I believe that you are out of control. And I believe it was a very close call last night whether they allowed you to leave the hospital or not. And I think what he is saying is that he cannot get closure. He cannot heal the wounds that he feels for a variety of reasons, one of which is the fact that you won't own the fact that you did not behave in a responsible fashion when you had your son with you.
Dr. Phil, we shared custody of Brandon for 15 years. So when you ask about why did I allow him to go with her, she had him often throughout the years. There was nothing, and you're right. It was a mistake on my part. Obviously, this was a mistake on my part.
Okay, hold on.
This was a mistake on my part to allow him to go to her house.
Clearly.
It wasn't the first time. He had been with her for 15 years. So, off and on, but I mean, so you're right. I said, in the end, I'm going to beat myself up about it because I allowed him to be with her. But it wasn't like he was never with her, and then all of a sudden one day I just said, go with Heather and we'll see how this goes. We were raising him throughout the years.
I don't think you foresaw. I don't think you foresaw what was going to happen, and I don't think she intended to do harm to her son.
Brian,
I do not
the last
believe either way.
words was, I hate my father.
How do you even come to that?
I hate my father.
You can never convince me that that's what this woman wanted.
But it was self-preservation. She knew she was going to get in trouble. The next day she has Chris take all the beer cans and throw them over the stone wall. The first thing she does is implicates him to take the beer
And you
cans
were
and get
there,
rid of the
Brian?
evidence. It's in the reports.
What reports?
It's
Who
their
was there?
pictures taken.
Kids, children?
You asked this 15-year-old to get rid of evidence when he just saw his best friend dead in the backseat of a car.
It was my child, Brian.
Then you should have called. You shouldn't allow them to be
did.
doing it. You
I
killed
called.
our son. Admit it.
I
Admit
did
it.
not
You're
do
a drug
it. I did
addict,
not kill him.
and you killed our son.
You
Go
did.
to
You're the one who
counseling,
put him in
go
depression.
to rehab, and move forward.
I am off almost all medication.
Oh.
I really am.
Heather, you're on at least 30 to 40 prescriptions.
That's because of this trip I took. Normally, if I was in Connecticut on my couch with my dog, I don't need to take all this stuff. But if I'm in the plane and my hip hurts and everything else, I have to take more medication.
Parents,
it's as
pay more
needed, it's
attention.
prescribed.
Pay
Heather,
more
how many
attention to your
pills did
children's
you take
behavior.
this morning?
You were,
And where
I
you
don't
send
know.
those children, be
Two
careful.
maybe to get up? Two?
You
I don't
cannot
know.
All right, we're going to take a break and let everybody settle down. We'll be right back. Well, we are out of time today, and I have so much more that I need to cover. Tomorrow, we'll hear from Brandon's friends, some of whom were there the night he passed away. They make shocking accusations against Heather. Could she have saved her son's life? Take a look.
Tomorrow,
I do feel that Heather killed Brandon.
I did not kill him.
the drugs,
You said you showed Heather the crush pills that Brandon took from her purse.
Yes.
He did not show me that.
the alcohol,
I showed her everything on the counter, beer cans, a vodka bottle.
I didn't see any beer cans.
the accusations.
I was 15. I woke up to Heather being on top of me.
Did you have relations with AJ?
No, I did not.
With Mark?
Oh my God. It's Lucas. He's the one who's buying all these people off.
Now,
I believe you have an addiction problem. I think you were high that night.
This is just not what I came on this show for.
the dramatic conclusion.
If you don't get yourself straightened out, we're going to be burying you.
That's tomorrow.
I want to thank all of my guests, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Today on Dr. Phil, did they lose custody of their kids
A lot of it had to do with Mr. Wade's celebrity.
because their exes are rich and famous?
My ex-husband is known as the wild thing of golf.
How do you lose a custody battle to that guy? Is your reputation worse than his?
Ex-wives fighting back.
I had taken down all of his framed jerseys, and I was just going to lay them off flat in the driveway so he would run over all of them.
Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. Jailed for 3 days. Reason? Contempt of court. Back to jail again? What's the reason this time? Harassment. My first guest says if she was not the fourth wife of a famous athlete, she would not be unfairly scrutinized by the public. Take a look.
My ex-husband is John Daly, and he is known as the wild thing of golf. He just does what he wants to do, and if people do not like it, he doesn't care. I met John in 2001, and 42 days later, we were married. I was John's fourth wife. He has been a really big party guy. It goes from 0 beers to 100 beers. Literally, I mean, there has been a day he drank 100 beers. My marriage to John was either heaven or hell. There was nothing in between. When John would start partying, he would leave for 2 or 3 days at a time. He would turn his cell phone off, and I couldn't get in touch with him. When he would get drunk, he would destroy the whole house. When I say destroy, I mean break every TV, every picture, knock over furniture, thump the refrigerator over. There was a time when he hated the color that the wall was painted, and he pulled his pants down, pulled his private out, and he peed all over the wall. That was my, oh my God, who have I married moment. It was an emotional roller coaster living with him. He was cheating on me 6 months into the marriage. Me and the kids went to surprise John at the bus, and we walked in on him and another woman naked in the bed. The marriage finally ended when I found out John was traveling on his bus with another woman. After the divorce, we got involved in a bitter custody battle. John and I have a son together. He's 9 years old. As of right now, I haven't seen my son in about 3 months. I feel like I'm dying because I don't have the money John has. I don't have the power John has. John is a celebrity. He's a golfer, and my visitation is based around his tour schedule. I desperately miss my son.
Let's assume that everything you say is true, and I've seen your husband play. I've read things about him. He is kind of known as the bad boy of golf. If everything you say is true, and if things that people say about him in the media are true, to lose a custody battle to someone with that reputation, how do you do that? If you just describe somebody that says, this guy's peeing on the wall, he's tearing up the house, he's drinking straight vodka, he's the bad boy of golf, this guy's got the worst reputation in the history of the sport. How do you lose a custody battle to that guy? Is your reputation worse than his?
Well, it doesn't really look that good on paper or in pictures, but I don't think it was because of reputation. I think it just took a lot of time. And after our divorce, I really feel like, because I did a tell-all book, that made him angry and wanted him to come after custody, because he knows that my children are the closest thing to me. And I'm not a perfect mother, but as far as keeping up with paperwork and being bombarded with, legal documents and stuff like that. Once I wrote the book, next thing you know, he was wanting custody, and I just think he is more capable of keeping paperwork going.
He doesn't seem like a very paperwork guy to me.
Well, I think he has a lot of help with that. He's had the money to keep me in litigation, and he knows that I'm not really good with paperwork and all that. I'm trying to be a mother. I've got other children, and when I get served with 115 pages of just basically lies all the time, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect, there might be some truth to some, but there were always circumstances, and I really and truly do not know how all this happened, and I just want, peace. That's really why I want you to help us.
Well, I've never understood this famous husbands getting passes. I mean, they love her and talk about me like I came out from under a bridge or something.
No one ever wants to talk about John. Everybody wants to sweep his stuff under the rug, and including me. I used to sweep it under the rug. Before he got done tearing up, I was covering up. I was right there with the agents. I was doing it for years.
Well, you've been candid about your past with us. Does Sherry's criminal past have something to do with losing custody of her son? Let's talk about this. Look at this tape piece of what you told us, and we'll talk about it.
I have been arrested a few times. I've had to go to jail twice for contempt of court out of divorce court. There was a harassment. I was in jail for 5 months. It was federal prison. The crime was failure to report a federal transaction. At the time, I didn't know that I was doing anything wrong. I served my time, I paid my dues, and that's a part of my life that I just moved on from.
Has he used that against you? Has his team used that against you?
I think they tried that in the beginning, and we kind of got past that. I don't think my legal issues have been the problem. They've come up with other stuff, like, making false allegations about how this all began with losing him 2 years ago was, John comes into the picture. He was gone for months and months and months, and then pops into the picture and says, I didn't get my kid's school speech therapy.
Okay, well, hold that thought. We have to take a break. Sherry was publicly accused of stabbing her ex on his cheek with a steak knife. Did she? We'll let her tell us what really happened. We'll come back.
Sherry, did you do this to John?
This picture shows Daly with his face scratched up. He says after a fight with his wife.
And later, there are a lot of stories out there that describe you as really volatile. Have you attacked your ex-husband? Did you slash his tires and bash out his car window?
Sherry Daly is the soon-to-be ex-wife of golf's bad boy, John Daly. She says she knows how groupies pursue star golfers.
It's almost just like with rock stars. You've got all these girls following your husband around.
Golfer John Daly freely admits he drank too much, gambled away millions, and Sherry says he was routinely unfaithful.
We don't want to believe that while we're taking care of kids, our husbands are out cheating on the road with groupies.
Well, that was Sherry Daly, now ex-wife of professional golf player John Daly. She wants to clear up what she says are misconceptions that continue to haunt her in the headlines. Take a look.
In 2007, John accused me of stabbing him with a knife.
This picture shows Daly with his face scratched up. He says after a fight with his wife.
Sherry, did you do this to John?
No. I did not stab John. I did not scratch John. I did not assault John. John knew that I was probably about to leave him, and I felt like it was I can't have her anymore, so I'm going to ruin her any way I can.
So you didn't do that?
No, I did not stab.
So how did he get scratched up?
We had actually been out the very same day looking at new houses. I think I almost put a contract on a house. We were having a great day. He started drinking late in the afternoon. We went home, and the back gate wouldn't open, and so he just curses the security guard out. Then he got out and broke the gate off, and all of our kids were in the car while I did this, and I was like, what is wrong with you? So when I got there, I was just disgusted. I said, I'm going to go to my friend's house for a little bit. Will you just stay with the kids? I was probably gone an hour. When I came back, he had left the kids, and he had gone to this bar down the street. And all of these people, knowing his history with drinking whiskey, I went up there, and he must have had 7 or 8 shots. Like, everybody was sending John a shot, sending John a shot. And at this point, after this many years, and it had gotten really bad with the whiskey drinking, and every time I turned around, the house was destroyed. I mean, everything. And I just said no more. So I just
All right,
told
well,
him no
Sherry
more.
says she did not stab her husband, but admits to retaliating against him in a unique way. Take a look.
I made a huge dinner for John and all his friends, and he didn't show up for 2 or 3 days. So when he arrived, I had taken the spaghetti and dumped it all on his new carpet in the garage, and I took Diet Cokes, and I just stuck knives in the pan and lit these candles and let them burn out. I wanted it to look really psycho. I just wanted him to think I meant business.
So, what?
I was really just joking. It wasn't like, I just wanted it to look like a really freaky scene when he pulled into the garage, and I wanted to mess his new carpet up because I cooked for about 15 people, and he didn't show up for days. Luckily, he got there when he did because I had taken down all of his jerseys that he has framed, and I was just going to lay them off flat in the driveway so when he drove up in his Hummer, he would run over all of them. But luckily, he came in time where I just moved him downstairs, and I was just too tired to get him to the driveway.
Yeah.
But there was we didn't go around, we didn't beat each other up all the time. There were about 3 days out of 7 years, that were some bad situations, and he wasn't abusive to me all the time. We really were happy.
So why did you lose custody?
Just lots and lots of paperwork.
Come on.
They've bombarded me with stress.
Are you telling me you do paperwork to get your kid back?
No, I've done lots of it. No, I'm going to do anything I can to get my kid back. But how he got him was he would wrongly accuse me of things. Like, he's always lying. And, like, if he comes with this homeschool, he's, like, lied and said I didn't do it.
The judge put you in jail for 3 days for contempt of court.
This is when she gave him the custody originally. He said that I'd refused giving him visitation, interfered in his life, and he wasn't in speech therapy. And here's what I want to clear up. That's not true. He had been in speech therapy twice a week, And the school program, if they would have wanted him in summer, if they wanted him in more, they would have told me what to do. They didn't suggest any more speech therapy.
Well, so these courts are just getting it wrong. They're just blowing it. They just put you in jail. They just like, whoops, put you in jail for the wrong reason.
Well, no, then they told, no, they really, after that, she said that get him more speech therapy. But they said that I didn't do it in a timely manner. Well, I did.
Were you arrested in November for harassment?
People can just go and say harassment if they want. I didn't harass anyone. I'm not going to.
Well, did you send a woman 50 or 60 text messages?
No, I did not. Not 50 or 60. And if we were having an
30 or 40?
No.
20? How many?
Maybe 20. I don't know, but it wasn't harassment if they're texting you back. Isn't that called an argument? I mean, couldn't I have all done the same thing? So I'm not pleading guilty, and I'm going that.
No,
I'm very surprised that they can just come arrest someone for having a conversation.
What did you say in the conversation?
Well, a few things. I mean, maybe one of them wasn't really nice, but it wasn't a threat or anything.
This wasn't from that particular conversation. We have a sample of the kind of text that you send. You can tell me who you sent this one to. The text read, if you didn't listen to greedy, nosy old hag-ass, we could be friends and have peace. Get your back, or did you get a lap band on them too?
I did say it. But when you are...
Who did you send that to?
I did send that to John, but listen, I paid the dues for that one. I mean, that was in the ones where when, the judge said that, contempt of court or whatever, that was harassment. I admit I sent it, but I meant it. I mean, I did. Because I had a baby with John Daly. I wasn't pregnant before marriage. I planned to have two boys. I wanted to be a wife and a mother, and I wasn't the one out sleeping with every one-eyed monster from here to California and back across America. I was a faithful, good wife, and even in his own book, he wrote a book while we were still married, and he says my wife is a very good mother. She might, say what she thinks too much sometimes. I don't say real hateful things. I just say things that are true. Maybe I say them too much, though.
Well,
I'm working on it.
All right. We're going to take a break. Next, Sherry's top 10 reasons why she feels she would be a better parent than her ex-husband. We'll be right back. You said there's 3 kinds of women on the PGA Tour.
I don't want to keep saying whores on your show, but yes, there are. I wrote a book called Teed Off. I wrote the book just to get the truth out. I do regret writing the book because it made John angry and made him want to start trying to get custody and find all my faults.
You wish you hadn't written this?
I really just wanted to get the true story out because I did not want people thinking that I stabbed John Daly. So the true story got out, and
Was it this book that you said there's 3 kinds of women on the PGA Tour that hang around the players?
I mean, I don't want to keep saying whores on your show, but yes, there are. I mean, there are the clubhouse. There's the clubhouse whores, every golf stop. There's the country club whores. Then, they have the groupies that are in the town. They want a famous golfer, and they want a guy with money. And the truth of this, there are real whores at some of the stops, too. Like real ones with...
You said there's hoes, whores, and hookers.
Yeah, the hookers. The hookers.
So,
I saw
well, what's the difference
hooker.
between a hoe and a whore?
A hoe is just probably just a promiscuous person that wants to hook up with someone famous.
Okay,
and
that's a hoe.
Cool. A whore is probably one of those old women that just come around all the time and they don't care if you're married or not, and they just meet up with your husband every year. Now, the hookers, they were the ones wearing the high heels, torn up pantyhose, and walking on the parking lot. I had never seen a real one in person that close.
Okay, now, I mean, absolutely, I make absolutely no innuendo in this whatsoever, but how did you meet John?
I wasn't any of that.
I said.
Well,
I mean, no innuendo on this. I just wondered how you did meet John.
The only reason I met him is because this hoe had nothing to do that day but go to golf. I'm just kidding. All of my friends were going to the golf course. I was dressed up this day. I was on time to work for my dad, looking very serious in my suit, and I just wanted to go somewhere and have lunch. I was on the 10th hole. I was only there because I had nothing else in the world to do. And I was just having a corn dog, or maybe two. And when he made the turn, he told his friend, he was like, his friend did introduce us or whatever, but I really still had no interest. But then, because I thought he was real wild and crazy, I was getting, I was getting the wrong image, or at least I thought I was. He was very soft-spoken. He told his friend, I want to meet her or whatever. I'm in love with her. I'm going to marry her. John is really sweet. When he's not on the whiskey and stuff, he is a very sweet person. He's charismatic. I mean, he's funny. I mean, I was with him.
42 days later, y'all married.
So he must have been pretty convincing.
Yeah, he must have. All right, now, there are 10 reasons why Sherry feels she would be the better parent. Number one, you say all the children always want to come to your house, and it's always packed. You're kind of the hangout place.
Love cooking. I didn't ever want a big career. I wanted to be a wife and a mother. That's what I used to pray to be.
So your son gets to be a child there.
Yeah, he gets to be a child.
You say she does not leave her son with a babysitter and keeps his bedroom exactly the way he wants it. You say she is hands-on mother and wants to take care of him by yourself, not farm him out. 5, she says she makes him everything he wants, such as chicken and rice and chocolate cake. She does everything for him. 6, she provides her son with a stable home instead of traveling all over the country. 7, her son literally runs around all day because he is used to living on a tour bus 90% of the time. She pays for a tutor to help him. You make sure he gets help. All right, his face and voice show that he is unhappy. I mean,
he never wants to leave. He cries and cries.
He does not want to leave her house when he visits. So you think he's happy and robust there.
He is, but now I will have to say this. He loves John.
Do you want to reconcile with John?
No. But what I do want is I want you to help us be co-parents. Me and John without girlfriends or without other people involved that, aren't in our best interest. I don't want to be John's friend where we hang out. We're never going to sit and have dinner together, but I would like us to be able to have a conversation about him, and I would like us to be peaceful and more understanding. I would like little John to know the truth, that I didn't stab his dad, and it would be real easy to say, look, I drank a lot. I made it up. It would go everybody would sweep it under the rug for him, but I'm not John Daly. No one loves me like they do him. And that's why it's made it hard for me. It makes it hard for me to get a job. It makes it hard on me if, there are some people that want to believe it.
Well, maybe we can do some mending there. But you think old Hagass needs to take a step back for that to happen?
Well, I quit calling people names this year.
Okay, all right. Well, that's a good... All right, that's good. All right, I think I got it.
Let's rename her.
Okay, let's name her the girlfriend.
The girlfriend,
right,
I think,
good.
needs to mind her own business.
Let's just say, let's not trash her. All right, coming up, my next guest says being labeled crazy and psycho by the media will not stop her from fighting for custody of her 2 sons. That's next. Okay. All right, see this woman here? Now, some of you may recognize her, and some may not. She claims the media has publicly described her as violent, psycho, emotionally unstable, and cuckoo crazy. Her name is Savon Funches Wade, and she was once married to the popular Miami Heat basketball star, Dwayne Wade. She says her tumultuous marriage to such a high-profile famous figure has left her a victim fighting for her life and her children. Take a look at their very public drama that played out in the headlines. Savon Funches began dating her high school sweetheart, Dwayne Wade, when she was only 15 years old. The couple were married a year before Wade entered the NBA draft. It didn't take long before Wade's career would skyrocket, making him a perennial NBA All-Star and leading the Miami Heat to 2 championships. Although things were going great on the basketball court, things at home were beginning to fall apart for the couple. Their domestic disputes started making headlines, leading to the couple's separation in August 2007. Rumors of Dwayne Wade dating actress Gabrielle Union began to surface. A bitter custody battle ensued over the couple's 2 young sons, with Siobhan alleging that Wade was physically abusive towards her and her children.
Siobhan Funches Wade left the courtroom with an entourage of supporters and attorneys, her right arm close to her body and in a sling. At issue today was whether Funches Wade should have her visitation rights yanked or supervised.
After years of ugly court battles, Dwayne Wade was awarded primary residential custody of their 2 children, while Siobhan was granted just 2 visits a month.
If your kids could see you right now, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that I love them very, very much, and that I am doing everything I possibly can. I'm using every dime that I have and fighting.
Several online blogs and media have dubbed her psycho and crazy. But who is the real Siobhan Funches Wade? She is here to tell us exactly that and her side of the story. Okay, well, please welcome Siobhan Funches Wade. Everybody say hello. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad to meet you, and very much want to hear your side of the story. At this point, who has custody of the children? Does your ex-husband have primary custody of the children?
Yes.
How did that happen? Why is that?
Well, a lot of it had to do with Mr. Wade's celebrity, you know, and a lot of it had to do with his money. But, you know, I've seen the court system in a way that I've never seen before. I went into that place hoping to get help for my children and I, but you know, I found judges in the courtroom, you know, quoting statistics for Mr. Wade, and they would speak about him as if they were introducing the starting lineup for a basketball game.
So you're saying they would say, okay, now comes before the court, Siobhan Funches Wade on this side and on this side, 3-time All-Star. They're quoting like you're introducing him at a game?
That's the way the judges were to me. I realized that when we were doing scheduling and we were asking, you know, when would Mr. Wade come in and testify, she was saying, oh, I know when he'll be in Chicago, and they play the Bulls, and right now they're in Philadelphia, for example, and they're playing Philadelphia, and she knew all of these things, and she would say all the time, you know, I'm a huge basketball fan, and I was sort of hoping she'd be a fan of justice, but I found otherwise.
There are a lot of stories out there that describe you as really volatile, really over the top. I mean, I've put together a notebook about all of this, and some of it is unkind. Some of the really popular bloggers out there, one called Zimbio, describe you, says Siobhan is taking on the role of the crazy baby mama, the type of ex that isn't really concerned about the well-being of her children, but the tearing down of her ex-husband. And then MrsGrapevine.com says, Siobhan Wade, crazy antics have caused her to lose temporary custody of her sons, and on top of that, her lawyer quit again. I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, I've got a lot of these. Why are they saying those things about you?
Well, my ex-husband had a publicist, and, you know, as far as the record reveals, it may have been, I don't know, approximately $20,000 a month. So when you're able to pay somebody that amount of money a month
to plant
your stories.
So you have no ownership in this at all? You're totally a victim here?
I do believe this. I own this. I'm not perfect, and there's no perfect parent. But as far as being intentionally absent or intentionally harmful to my children, I won't take that because that would be incorrect.
Have you attacked your ex-husband?
No.
Did you slash his tires and bash out his car windows?
No, sir.
Because that's been said, right?
Yeah, they also said I kidnapped my children and we were swimming in the back pool.
He wrote a book entitled A Father First. And he says on page 234 of his book, he said, you sent a message to his assistant that you were on your way back to Miami to slash his tires and bash his car windows. They raced over to the house to find the damage had already been done.
Well, that's not true, but I haven't read the book, so I'm not certain exactly what it says.
Paraphrasing, but that's what it said. But you didn't do that.
No, I didn't.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. Next, Savon claims that her ex-husband's hatred for her has clouded his judgment. We're going to find out what she means by this after the break. We'll be right back.
I know that my son said he wanted to die after being on the phone with his dad, and Mr. Wade is on the phone telling him, man the up.
The latest chapter of Wade v. Wade took place inside the out-of-place, sprawling metal fence line in a working-class neighborhood of South Holland. The ex-Mrs. Wade agreed to an interview over the phone.
I don't have the fame he has. I don't have access to the millions of dollars that he has, so I'm not able to do some of the things he's been able to do.
Well, I'm here with Savon Funches Wade, former wife of Miami Heat basketball star Dwayne Wade. She says he was awarded custody of their two sons due to his celebrity status.
Yes. You know, when I originally got into court, my gut feeling was telling me that something was wrong. But now that I'm actually a student in law school, I'm able to pinpoint, and I'm able to, you know, look at different statutes and things like that and know for certain that what happened to me was totally biased. And I have no better word for it, you know, in being honest, other than corruption.
Well, Dwayne Wade spoke to ESPN in July of 2012 about the day he says his children were missing under your care. Let's see what he says about that, and I want to ask you about what the court had to say.
Okay.
What's your first gut reaction when you realize this isn't just a miscommunication, but your ex-wife has your kids and the intention at that point is not to give them back to you?
You know, when you deal with something over and over again, you know, obviously for me, it's always, I get scared, you know, and you know, every time my kids leave the house, I get nervous that they might not return. So I'm up all night. I'm trying to figure out ways. I'm talking to the police while I'm on the phone. And if I had to get on the plane and go to Chicago, I would have been there to make sure I bring them back myself.
What do you say about that?
Wow, where do I start? The children were not missing. They weren't kidnapped. We were in the backyard at my house. We weren't even away from my home. We were in the pool swimming. So there was no concealing, you know, the children. People don't normally hide out in a backyard in a pool.
There was a court-appointed doctor that did a bunch of spent time and did a series of evaluations and interviews, and I assume you don't agree with those findings.
At the end of her first report, she recommended that we have joint custody and that the children remain living with me. Mm-hmm. And after that, Mr. Wade filed a motion, and he asked the court to go back and only determine sole custody, so that we wouldn't share the children, but that one parent would be the sole custodian. And so he asked for that, and she did a second evaluation. The court granted his motion. And during the second evaluation, she said, well, she thinks that her first evaluation was accurate and that it should be joint custody, and they remain living with me. But in the event that there's a sole custodian, she believes that I should be the sole custodian and the children should remain with me, and I have residential custody as well. But the court ruled contrary to that.
Well, the court said, the court finds that Savon has embarked upon an unstoppable and relentless pattern of conduct for over 2 years to alienate the children from their father, and lacks either the ability or willingness to facilitate, let alone encourage, a close and continuing relationship between them. On the other hand, this court finds that Dwayne will, in fact, encourage a close and continuing relationship between the boys and Savon. So they basically said that you are guilty of parental alienation by programming these children away from their father. That's pretty severe ruling.
It is, but it's completely inaccurate. And the custody evaluator that had the time to go and extensively research this and find out what was happening, she testified that Mr. Wade had alienating behavior, but you don't find that anywhere in the court's opinion. She also testified that the things that were happening that they called alienation were actually a reaction from myself to some of the things that Mr. Wade was doing. She testified to that. And I think that that's what they called, and his lawyer alleged to be parental alienation, I know now was protection. It was. There were times before any court was involved, before there were any court orders or any custody decisions, that I would call Mr. Wade, I would text him, I would send him emails, and we wouldn't hear from Mr. Wade for several weeks straight. And so I know for a fact that if someone is concerned about parental alienation, or somebody believes that their child is in the care of someone who's psychotic, they're not going to leave them in their care and then go weeks without even picking up the phone and say, you know, I just wanted to know, were you all still alive? And we knew that Mr. Wade was still alive because we had cable and we could watch ESPN. But other than that, you know, we had no idea. He literally went over 3 months. 3 months consecutively without seeing either of our children.
We've got to take a break. Savon sent us pictures that she says prove her children were hurt in her ex's care. We'll talk about those when we come back. Now, Savon sent us a picture of her son, Zion, after he returned from his father's house with an alleged sprained back. Now, you sent us a photo that's supposed to prove that he has a sprained back, and it's of his face.
Because that wasn't the only injury. You see his nose as well. It was his nose, his eye, and his back at that time. It was all three of those things.
This picture shows what? What do you say this picture shows?
This was his, if you see his nose, he had a cut on his nose originally. His eye literally was blackened, but he also had a sprained back. It's not, the back was something more internal.
Savon also sent us a picture of her son Zion after returning from his father's house with what she says was a head rash. I'm not a physician, but I'm sorry, I don't see it. What are we looking at?
They're like these tiny bumps, and in certain places, there were red blisters, but it wasn't just on his head. It was literally running down the side of his face. It was painful for him.
Tell me, kind of in summary, what is it you want people to know that they don't know about you in this situation?
I want people to know this first in general, that when a mom or a dad is fighting for something as serious as the safety of their children, you have every right to fight for your children. And that's something that I've done. I know what my children went through. I know that I've had to report Mr. Wade to the Department of Children and Family Services. I know that my son said he wanted to die after being on the phone with his dad, and Mr. Wade is on the phone telling him, man the up, and calling him and telling him, men don't cry, so stop his crying. Those sort of things take a toll on children and can destroy them. And by those children being very young and defenseless, not otherwise being able to defend themselves, I had to do it. And when I stepped in and I did it, Mr. Wade used just about everything he had to make me pay for that.
But I'm troubled by the fact that through all of this, I've asked you what your ownership in it is, and you've said none. I mean, just nothing at all. You said nobody's perfect, but yet the court has found a consistent pattern of alienation where you're not supporting a relationship between the children and their father, and you have no ownership with it at all. And I'm not judging the situation, but I'm telling you this: you're losing this battle. Obviously, you're losing the battle, and at some point, parents have to come together and say, we've got to find a way to try to get along. I want these children to have a relationship with their mother. For God's sakes, they need a relationship with you. I want them to have as much of a relationship with you as they can, and with their father. It's so important for children to have a relationship with both of their parents. And having worked as an officer of the court in making custody determinations, I have to tell you, this looks very suspect to me. And I would be very concerned about the welfare of these children were I appointed by the court to evaluate the situation, I would have lots of questions here.
And the custody evaluator did have lots of questions. She didn't do one report, she did two. And I think that even the court said themselves she was the best forensic psychiatrist, at least in the Chicago, Illinois area. And she did do the research. She did do all of the background checks. And she did interview, and she spoke with, I believe, teachers. And there were therapists that came for depositions, teachers that came. There was a principal, the principal of the children's school showed up ready to testify. And so you have all of these witnesses.
Oh, I've lived in the system my whole life.
And then you have Mr. Wade and a judge saying, well, we think otherwise. And that is very, very unfortunate that it went that way. But I'm very certain that if you could have saw, the court and how it went, you would have saw this long list of witnesses saying, no, she's not perfect, but these children should be with their mother. And no, he's not perfect, and they should not be with him, and here's why. And then you have Mr. Wade, and you have the judge, like you said, who made the ultimate decision. And you said earlier, in all fairness, and I think that's the problem. Everything that's fair is not just. And there's just a huge difference between fairness and justice. And I agree with what you're saying as far as the court system and taking the chance of placing it, in someone else's hands to make very, very serious decisions.
But if what you're doing is not working, you need to change what you're doing, right?
Originally, I tried to reach out to Mr. Wade. But I learned this in this situation, too. You cannot control people. No matter how much you love your children, whatever you want that's best for them, you can't control the other parent.
What you're saying is not going to move you closer to getting back into an increased relationship in your children's lives, increased access. Bashing what he's doing with the kids is not going to enhance your role. I'm just saying you got to change what you're doing if you want to get back into the position that you need to be in with your children's lives, which I support. You need to be in a bigger role in your children's lives. Yeah. All right, we have to stop. We're just out of time. We just have to stop. But I just want you to have a bigger role in your children's lives.
And I do too, Dr. Phil. And I'm doing, everything I can to have that okay. role. But if I'm asked the truth, my truth may be an ugly one, but I have to tell the truth.
Okay. All right, coming up, the top 5 questions to ask yourself during a custody battle. We'll be right back. Here are the top 5 questions that you need to ask yourself during a custody battle. Number 1, have you been a devoted and dedicated parent from a distance? I mean, really, sometimes it's harder, but are you doing that even if it's from a distance? Number 2, have you completed all of your visits with your children? Have you maximized every opportunity to see these kids in a quality way? Do you spend extra time with these children? And do you take any opportunity that you have to see these children? You have to put your children's interest above your own. They need their dad. They need their mother. I really want to thank my guests. Savon Funches Wade, thank you for being here and talking about this. And Sherry Daly, thank you so much. And I hope you continue to do the things that you're doing and get your paperwork right and show up on time. For more information on Savon Funches Wade's Women's Empowerment website, log on to www.awomansworth.info. And you can buy Sherry Daly's book, Teed Off, My Life as a Player's Wife on the PGA Tour on Amazon.com and bookstores everywhere. I have a sneaking suspicion you will be entertained. Thanks so much for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil. Need help settling arguments?
Would you like to know what my opinion is?
It's no. Dr. Phil asks the questions.
Did you borrow this?
I dropped it and then froze.
This stuff looks like you put it in a blender.
And the audience votes on who's right.
There's dust under these shoes. Look at this.
There's not dust under objects. There's only dust around objects. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If it matters to you, that's what I want to talk about. Are we ready in the booth?
Hey.
Let's do it. All right, have you ever had an argument that you just can't settle by yourself? Well, wouldn't it be great if you just had someone that could help you decide? Well, today that's me. I'm your tiebreaker. Now, Britt is here. She's 18. Her dad, John, says she's kind of a slacker. You think that she doesn't do as well as she can. She doesn't live up to her potential. She could do a better job.
I think she could put more effort into whatever she's doing, whether it be washing a car, studying her acting career.
Okay, so you think she's not acting hard enough? You think she needs to? You think she needs to go to more auditions? She needs to what? What is it she's not doing?
I think that maybe watch more about other actors.
What do you think?
Well, the thing is, Dr. Phil, that I just graduated from the New York Film Academy 3 times a week, night school, and I had professional teachers, many different acting classes, and I've been doing this for about 4 years. Before that, I was doing acting classes 2 years every Sunday. I mean, I don't know it all, but I know more than my dad does because I've been studying it. And he thinks that I need to watch more films. Well, we do that in my class. And when I am at home, like if I'm watching movies, I'm studying. And it's like I can't pull an audition out of the air.
It's just kind of the work ethic of the generation. He's saying you got to have a lot of hooks in the water if you're going to catch a fish. You got 1 hook, you got 1 chance. You got 10 hooks, you got 10 chances. You're saying that she should have more hooks in the water, right?
Correct.
Can you do more than what you're doing? Are you waiting for it to come to you?
I'm not waiting for it to come to me. I actually have been out there. I'm doing basically everything almost by myself. And it's a hard industry to get into. I see a lot of girls go to auditions. Their mom is right there, like in on all their business. They have everything written down for them. It's like, and then I go in, I'm like, I'm doing this all by myself, first of all. And I just got a new agent. I went and auditioned, bam, grabbed me, and I did that by myself, got a new manager, picking out classes by myself, paying for these things by myself.
Well, you must have some skills if you got an agent.
Yeah.
Because an agent won't sign you if they don't feel like they have an opportunity to get you work or they don't get paid.
I don't see how that's not trying my best.
Well, millions of people are seeing you right now.
Exactly.
So, I mean, seriously.
Do you like the space, America?
Yeah. So be radiant or be dark or whatever it is you, whatever your deal is. I mean, this is the time and place. So you're here. That's a good thing. All right. Now, Dad even complains about the way that Britt cleans his house. Take a look at this.
Hey, Brett.
Hey, Dad. Just finishing up your laundry.
You are. You got my shirts all going in the right direction.
Me and my father, we do argue a lot.
Daughters and daddies sometimes just don't see eye to eye.
Always bickering, and it's a tragedy because I had to move out.
Did you dust? Dust will get you sick.
I don't look forward to you pointing out my flaws.
You can get under these shoes. Look at this. Come on. You got to get up there and clean that. And then there's a fly in the house. When they're 18, they seem to know everything that you don't know.
No need to hover. I know what I'm doing.
Make sure my socks are all, don't be matching them up weird.
Maybe something can get resolved from this.
Be sure you pick up all your stuff. Don't be leaving stuff all over for me.
Okay. Now, Dad, are you being a little obsessive here?
You think? A fly? I left a fly in the house?
I'm just curious if you think so.
Thank you.
I think it's not being obsessive, but I think it's good practice to, it's just fundamentals. I mean, if you're going to clean something or you're going to do something, you're going to put every bit of effort you can into that. And that's kind of how I work.
But, Dad, is that house not spick and span when you walk in?
It's decent.
It's decent.
It's dece. That's his word to me. It's dece. Well, you could have done this a little better. Well, what about this, Britt? What about that?
You're an actor. Let me hear the speech he gives.
Britt, if I were doing it, I would have done this. And with the paving company, if you would have considered this paving, you would have done it this way. And Britt, you're not going to get anywhere if you do everything half whatever. It's everything he compares it to paving.
She do you pretty good?
As far as?
I mean, she just gave a
Everything
speech. Is that pretty?
It's all
He
right.
compares to paving.
I compare to hard work, Britt.
Yeah,
not just a-
he's a really hard worker, but so am I, and he doesn't realize that. So he's really hard on me. I'm like, Dad, you really need to open your eyes, look at all the other teenagers out there, and realize that I'm not that bad.
I agree with that. She's not that bad, Doctor.
All right. Gabrielle is here. She's your ex-wife and your mother.
Yes.
I don't know. He seems a little anal to me.
Come on.
No, I'm serious. You seem a little harsh with her. A little, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that her daddy needs to respect his beautiful daughter, that she's a wonderful, beautiful girl. And he needs to know how to treat her with compassion and respect and love.
Yeah.
I do that.
In fairness, I don't read that. As I watch him watch her, I think he admires her greatly. I think he thinks the world of her. I don't think that you hold her in bad esteem. I just think you have this need for control, and so you're trying to tell her how to do what she's doing, and I'm just wondering if you think that's working for you. Is that creating the result you want over here?
No. But you know what, Dr. Phil?
Well, there is no but. If the answer's no,
well,
what's the but?
Okay. You know, you worry about him. You know, I worry about my daughter, and I want to make sure that she does everything possible to be successful
Worrying
in
about
her
your
life.
daughter and criticizing her dusting skills
Dr.
are
Phil,
two
she
very
didn't even
different
move a
things.
shoe. You don't dust around. How would you? I mean, you don't dust around objects. You pick an object.
But there's not dust under objects. There's only dust around objects.
No, if
the object is on the shelf, there's no dust under it.
I understand
I'm
that,
a dust arounder, so I get that.
Okay, well, if you have a shoe that's picking up in the front, you're going to have dust under that shoe. So if you move that shoe, it's a lot easier to dust than trying to work.
You couldn't dig a bigger hole if we had a backhoe.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I love my dad very much, and I love spending quality time with him, but sometimes he makes it really unenjoyable, where I come to his house and I'm automatically in a bad mood. Did you do your hair like that for the audition? Oh, are you gonna wear heels? It makes you look slimmer. Oh, is your car clean? If it has water spots, Brittany, oh my gosh. Like, he goes off, and it makes it really unenjoyable for me to be with him when I just want to go spend time with my dad. I would love to talk to you on the phone more, Dad, but every time I pick up that phone, it's something like, oh, so did you go on audition today? And then he picks every little thing out of it and thinks so hard about it, and then I have to hear about it later, and it's even harder on me later. So it's like, why would I want to come over if you're going to be like that to me?
Oh, I didn't know it was that.
But it's like that because when I come over, he goes, why are you giving me attitude? Why are you being mean?
Well, Brett,
are you like this in the world?
Wait a minute. Listen, I don't want to spoil this for you. This is school right here.
Right.
This is school. There is no reality, only perception. What she is telling you is diamonds and gold right now. You need to hear this with both ears. She is telling you how to close the gap with your daughter. She's telling you how not to make her dread for you to walk in the room. She's telling you how to make her want to call you and be with you and bond with you. And if you'll trade that for water spots and dusting around a shoe, you're a damn fool.
Okay.
Now, is John being too hard on his daughter? I'm going to ask the audience next, and I'm going to give my opinion. We'll be right back.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Who in here is being honest?
They all have issues.
Have you been drinking today?
No, I did drink last night.
Because the makeup artist smelled alcohol on you this morning.
But one of these women
They're mean to me.
You're two-faced. You're so controlling.
will take their anxieties
Ambulance right now.
to the extreme. That's Monday.
Here's the question. Is John being too hard on his daughter? Now, look, think about this before you vote. I want you to pick up your gadgets, but don't vote. Think about this, because here's the deal. kids today sometimes don't know about the school of hard knocks. They don't know what it takes to get the edge and get ahead. And to have a father that is plugged in and cares enough to be hands-on, involved in their child's life, as opposed to just flying by and being absorbed in their own world, can be a real blessing. On the other hand, they can get to be such a micromanager that they create a backlash where you just resist it. So the question is he being too hard on his daughter? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Vote now. We'll hear what the audience has to say in a minute, but I'm going to give you my opinion first. You, sir, are a great dad.
Thank you.
I mean, you really are. I love that you are so interested and so involved with your daughter. I really do. And if we had more parents that are as plugged in as you, and you as well, I can hear it in your voice and the things that you say, you are blessed.
Yes,
to have these two folks in your life. So I think you're a great dad. Your technique is getting in your way. Okay. Your technique is getting in your way because you are a very detailed sort of guy. You are somebody that feels like if you control everything, if you'll get her to take that extra step, do this extra thing, that she will have great success, and you want that for her. But you need to have more confidence in your daughter. This is not a slacker. This is not somebody that doesn't care. It's clear to me that she is focused. What she needs is not a career coach, because she has that. She has an agent. She has a manager. What she needs is a dad that says, you are spectacular. I love you. I recognize your talent. I'm proud of you. For every biting criticism, it takes 1,000 attagirls to erase that. And she needs those 1,000 attagirls. She's got people that reject her at auditions. She's got people that say, you know, that didn't work for me. Thanks for coming in, blah, 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 blah. Being an actor is rejection and criticism, rejection and criticism. She needs a soft place to fall. You're it. You don't need to be doing what you're doing. Are you too hard on your daughter? I say yes with a capital Y. What's the audience say?
Oh, no.
90-10. 90-10, they agree with me, which means you are a brilliant audience. You are a brilliant audience. But you understand what I'm saying?
Totally.
I love your involvement. Don't you love his involvement as a dad?
Yes.
And your mom too.
Yes, both of them, they're amazing parents.
It's great. But you need to back off and have some confidence in her ability. If you saw her sleep until 2, 3 o'clock, not doing anything, not taking care of herself, not honing her craft, being irresponsible, that's one thing. Listen, you don't want to be arguing with her whether she dusted around a shoe or not.
Right,
right. Come on, in the grand scheme of things, who cares?
That was our biggest fight.
I mean, really.
No, the nose ring.
Yeah, well.
The biggest fight.
If she thinks that was the biggest fight, let that be the biggest fight for today.
Biggest fight.
2 teens, 2 tiebreakers, 1 baby, and a football. That's coming up next. You're Montana.
Yes, sir.
You're Zach.
Yep. Fumble.
That is how they start every day. It's a team tiebreaker day today. They're both in college. He goes to class, she goes to class. He plays football on a scholarship. He fumbles. And then they've got this one to handle along the way. All right? This is legend, by the way. And he's handful.
Yeah.
So we got 2 tiebreakers to deal with this group. First is the one that they both are so busy they can't agree on who's going to watch this baby. Take a look.
Being a teenage mom is very hard. When I have a baby and I'm a wife and I go to college.
Oh. I'm a full-time student, I'm a full-time husband, and I'm a full-time dad. Oh. We're both busy at the same time, and we have our little disagreements on who should take the trash out or who should go do laundry. You did this?
Yes.
It's a good thing I was here. You forgot it, huh?
My husband, Zach, is on a football scholarship.
I'm hoping that I become a professional football player.
We use Dad's jersey. Zach and I have disagreements on who's going to take care of the baby when we both have other plans.
Oh, it's your turn to watch them, and then we get in an argument.
Montana, when was the last time you ate?
As a teen father, it's been pretty stressful. I go to school, and then I go to football, and then I come home, and I have to take care of Legend. It's hard to determine which one should watch him while the other one works. Dr. Phil, when I get home from a football practice and I'm exhausted, is it unreasonable for me to expect her to stay home and watch Legend while I crash?
You've got football practice, what, 2.5, 3 hours a day?
Yep.
All right, because you're on scholarship to a college.
Yep.
You're playing football. It's hard. It's a lot of work. You're running, you're sprinting, you're doing all this stuff, getting knocked down.
Yeah.
Right? I went to college on football scholarship. I know it's a lot of work. It's a job.
Yeah.
Do you appreciate how hard he's working on that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do, a lot.
But you work hard with the baby as well, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
school. I should be able to go out and do my thing. Like, I'm a runner, and so I want to go out and run while he should stay at home and watch Legend so I can go do my thing.
So you cover the baby while he's doing his exercise and working out, then he should cover it while you do that.
Yes.
And then you all get back together. Okay. Should Montana watch the baby so Zach can sleep after football? Yes or no? Okay, everybody vote now. All right, now I'm going to give you my opinion, then we'll see whether you agree or not. No way, buddy. No way. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look, that's the reason you don't get pregnant when you're a teenager. That's the reason you don't get pregnant, because you're still busy putting your life together. You should be fighting to get to have time with that baby, not trying to push it off so you can take a nap. Are you kidding? If you guys start keeping score, okay, I had 2.5 hours with the baby. Now you have 2.5 hours with the baby. You're going to be a single mother. You should have thought about that when you were thinking about this. All right, let's see how the audience voted.
Wow.
Oh, wow, pretty split. Robin, how did you vote?
Oh, I voted no. He should take over and send her off to do her thing.
Okay,
go,
so...
honey, go.
Okay, now you guys have a second tiebreaker question as well, right? You're newlyweds, and there are already issues over money.
The things that are stressful right now are finances. We're surviving on student loans right now.
I want to spend money on something that I will actually use.
I had made money over the summer, and I'd saved up money, and I wanted a new TV.
I would rather think about how many shoes I could buy with how big that TV was. Well, we have the TV. Dr. Phil, should Zach have a higher say in how our money is spent just because he earned most of it? I think it should be a mutual decision.
Okay, so here's the question. Should Zach be in charge of the money because he earned it? I'm guessing that you say no.
Oh, yeah.
Correct? Because you say you want to have as much say with this money as he does. Okay?
I didn't say that we should spend all our money on TV and things that I want.
Oh, you just did? What were you doing before? Just listening to the radio?
Well, we did already have one.
Oh, you had a TV?
Yeah.
Now it's in our bedroom, and the big one is in the living room.
Yep.
Okay, and you'd rather have some shoes sitting there?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have
Would you like to know what my opinion is?
It's no.
You didn't have to come all the way here to know that, did you?
No.
Okay, but here's the thing, and listen, I want to answer this kind of seriously for you because this is important.
Yeah.
You're married now.
Yeah.
You have a family now.
Mm-hmm.
You have a partner in life now. You also have a precious child. And all of that money that's made, whether you make it, wherever it comes from, that's all family money.
Mm-hmm.
I've been married 34 years. There is no more me money.
Yeah.
I mean, she knocked the button clear off that thing when she was voting a while ago. There is no me money. It's all us money.
Yeah.
It's all family money. And just hope that it's us money.
Yeah.
Instead of her money.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean you can't negotiate. There's nothing wrong with buying a television.
Yeah.
If you have everything else covered and you have the proper amount in savings, you're putting the proper amount back for college, you've understood that it costs $250,000 to raise a baby from 0 to 18 years old before you get to college. You have all of those things. I assume you've got all that covered before you brought this TV?
No, I didn't know those
I mean,
facts.
do you have savings?
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see what the audience voted. Yeah, this isn't even a close call. 16% of the audience said you made the money, so you should get. Stand up if you voted yeah. No, stand up. Stand up if you voted that you made the money, you should get to spend the money. Okay, guy. Okay, then a guy, one woman. Okay, 2 women. Okay, so that's your posse, dude. Everybody else says no.
Another thing, we also spend too much money on food, apparently, he says.
Oh,
because
really?
he would rather just have cereal and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich when I would rather have chicken and mashed potatoes and corn and green beans.
So you're not feeding this girl?
No. Okay, I'm not complaining that she cooks because I love her cooking, but we can't afford to eat steak and mashed potatoes and green beans and a 4-course meal every night.
Yeah. What'd you spend on the TV? No, seriously, what'd you spend on TV?
It was $500.
$500?
Yeah.
And so $500, so that'd be an extra $50 a month for 10 months on 5. I don't know. Is it high def?
No, it's just plasma.
It's plasma screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, how big is it?
42.
42-inch plasma screen, yeah. No, you can't have any corn.
Okay.
All right. All right, the next teen tiebreaker. Should parents have passwords to teens' MySpace account? Should they be able to look in on what they're saying and doing? Talk about that when we come back.
Hey, Dr. Phil, this is my tiebreaker. My dad wants my password to my MySpace, and I'm not having it.
As long as she's under 18, I'm responsible for it.
The conversations I have on MySpace are personal and private.
I'm not even one of her friends.
I think it's my space, not his space. Does my dad really have the right to access my personal space?
Okay, well, that was Ashley. She's 15 years old, and she says her dad, David, wants to get into her MySpace and have access to what's going on there and talk about it. So their tiebreaker question is, should Dad have the right to Ashley's MySpace password? You say yes.
That's correct.
Would you bug the car? Would you go to school and listen around a corner what was she saying to a friend?
No,
It's the same thing.
As far as MySpace, she's talking with people she doesn't even know.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my concern.
So that's your concern.
Yeah, that's one of my concerns.
Okay, let's hear your side of the story. Why shouldn't he? I mean, you're underage. He's saying you're his responsibility, his job to protect you. So why shouldn't he have access to that to make sure you don't make a mistake?
I'm not getting into any trouble on it. You know, I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not doing anything wrong. And why can't I be on there? And just like you said, he's not listening when I'm out with my friends talking to them, or if I'm on the phone, he's not listening to our conversation. Yeah.
So you
But
liked
it's
what I
just-
said?
Yeah, of course I did.
So you're adopting all of that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you have good judgment?
Yeah.
Do you have good impulse control?
Yeah.
Do you have good information?
Yeah.
How many girls are stalked by cyber predators on the internet every day?
Too many.
That's not an answer. Would you be surprised if 1 in 5 were hit on by a predator in some way?
It's a pretty big number.
That's a pretty big number. Have you given him any reason not to trust you?
I have, but I've been doing a lot better now, so I think that's changed.
Because you've made some bad decisions
I
along the way,
have.
right? You've kind of had a little conflict with authority here and there. Are you responsible on your MySpace?
Yes.
Okay. Dad found out that you had a tattoo from your friends on MySpace, right? That was a surprise to you.
Yes, it was.
That's not a tattoo. That's a tattoo. This right here is a tattoo. This is a tattoo. That's serious.
Yeah, that's serious.
You think that you've earned his trust and therefore...
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with MySpace. I mean, MySpace isn't the reason why I got the tattoo.
No, of course not. It has to do whether or not you are doing things that earn the right to be trusted, the right to let the teenage leash out a little further, to let you do things kind of on your own, and you question that.
You know, she's meeting some of her boyfriends, you know, stuff like that. She's dating people off of MySpace, so that kind of scares me too. You know, with the predators and stuff like that you're talking about. I didn't know there was 1 in 5. That's even scarier.
All right, well, Ashley actually did a poll of her own. She asked her friends on MySpace and Twitter if they thought parents should have teens' passwords. And here's the response. I'm sure parents wouldn't give their kids their passwords. No way. That's our stuff, and we should have privacy. Parents don't like us going through their stuff. So those were the kind of responses you got.
Yep.
All right, well, I wasn't one of those responses, because I'm telling you, this is your 15-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And she has shown a tendency to kind of exercise poor judgment.
Yeah.
From time to time. That, to me, doesn't say, as a parent, yeah, wow, okay, I'm gonna trust her to do the right things. I'm gonna want some more evidence of self-control, good decision-making, and impulse control before I am comfortable with that. I would say absolutely, unequivocally, you should have those passwords. And if you don't get them, then I would shut that down. And if she opens up another account, then I would shut the computer down. And if that doesn't work, I would shut down every digital option that she had through cell phone or whatever to get that under control. If you have nothing to hide, then hide nothing at this point. And if you show good judgment and that moves forward, then you might change your mind about that. Yeah. But at that point, I would say definitely you should have. Let's see what the audience said. Audience says 75% say yes, you should have the passwords. Now, there's not anybody here your age.
No.
So everybody here is older, and
they're all parents.
They're all parents, and they all disagree. Does he have your best interest at heart?
Yeah, he does.
So he loves you. You have no doubt of that.
Of course.
Good dad. Loves you, wants the best for you. It's just possible that he may see things that you don't see. I don't want you to become a statistic, and I don't think you need to be listening in on everything that she's doing. I don't think you need to be violating every bit of privacy she has, but I think the wild, wild web is fraught with danger.
Yes.
And I think that's a place that you need to have a guiding hand and a presence, and I think you should not resist that. So that's where I come down on this one. Should siblings be able to take each other's things without asking? The most common teen tiebreaker question ever, coming up next.
My sister always borrows my things without my permission. Sometimes she even breaks my laptop, my iPod, my sweater.
Oh, sorry.
Dr. Phil, help.
Today we're talking about teen tiebreakers. They need somebody to weigh in and say who's right and who's wrong. Aaron is sick of Sister Tamara's taking his stuff.
My sister always borrows my things without my permission. Sometimes she even breaks them. Exhibit A, we have my laptop. Looks like a pretty good laptop, right? Wrong. She took it, borrowed it, and the battery's been missing ever since. It doesn't work anymore. My iPod, look at the screen. There's shampoo still in there. I don't know how to fix it. My camera. just doesn't work, as you can tell. Every morning, Tamara goes on a jog. Look at what her jogging outfit consists of. My sweater. You can't tell, but it smells like a girl, like perfume. You're wearing my sweater.
Oh, sorry.
You could ask me before you wear it, you know. Dr. Phil, help.
Okay, so your question is it reasonable for your sister to be able to just take your stuff without asking?
Yes.
And what do you say?
Like, I think it is reasonable sometimes. I mean, if he's not wearing it, like a jacket or anything, like if he already left, then I'm sure.
Well, but like it's his. Did you borrow this?
I borrowed it once, but I was walking on a trail with my friend.
Yeah, I can see why you only borrowed it once.
And then, I don't know, I dropped it, and then, like, it broke because the rock was underneath, so.
Well, I can see like it broke.
Yeah.
So you borrowed that. You borrowed this. What is in there?
That's shampoo.
That's shampoo?
I don't know how she got it in there.
Like.
Did you think this was one of those shower things you wear in the shower?
No, because I was washing my hair, and, like, it was on the counter. I didn't even borrow it. He just left it there, and my shampoo bottle fell on it, so.
Does that ever work again?
No.
It works sometimes. It's a bit jumpy, but.
Why would I use it?
What happened here?
She took that when I was at an audition for something, and then I never saw it working again because she lost the battery.
Okay, the battery was kind of loose when I used it, so. I was in my room, and I guess it fell.
So you guess it fell?
Yeah, I think it fell.
I guess it did. And then what happened with this? This is the sweater?
Yeah, she uses that all the time.
It does smell good.
And then she got a makeup stain on it somewhere.
Yeah, it's got makeup on it, and then you said it smelled like a girl.
Yeah.
This stuff looks like you put it in a blender. Are you kidding me? Are you like one of those gremlins? If you feed you like after midnight or something, you tear everything up? No. Do you borrow her stuff?
No, never. You don't see me wearing her heels or anything.
Well, as far as we know. How old are you?
I'm 17.
How old are you?
50.
So you're going to be together a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the question. Should Aaron's sister be allowed to take his items without his permission, yes or no? Take out your Paget gadget now. Vote. I'll give you my opinion real quick. She shouldn't be able to borrow his stuff with his permission. Let alone without his permission. And if you ever gave permission, you're a fool. Let's see the results. So what do you think?
Yeah, I probably should stop borrowing his stuff and buy my own stuff.
Okay, where's the 1% that said yes? Stand up. Yeah, I don't blame you. All right, the next teen tiebreaker. Should a 15-year-old rocker follow his passion or listen to his mother's business advice? We'll be right back. Well, Mom Carla says her son Anthony is the next guitar legend, but they disagree on how to move this music career forward.
Hi, Dr. Phil. I'm Carla. This is my very talented son, Anthony. He's 15. I call him Jimi Hendrix Reborn. He wants to write his own music. I want him to play, you know, popular music that kids have heard of. Our dilemma is, do I let him just go and do what he wants to do and what he's passionate about, or do I kind of make him do what I think is right? We're at a crossroads now where we don't know which way to go, right?
Indeed.
Okay, so how old are you?
15.
15?
Yes.
And you're very passionate about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is your deal. This is what you want to do?
Yep.
All right. And what kind of music do you want to play?
Well, I'm one for the unconventional. Like, I like weird stuff, smart music, you know. I'm not for just listen music, turn your brain off and listen. I'm not.
Okay, so you like to be creative and,
Yeah.
and kind of get off the beaten path.
Yeah.
And do something that feels
And
unique.
it's memorable and-
yeah,
yeah.
It's unique and real
Yeah.
to you. Okay? And you think instead he should what?
I mean, he does write really beautiful stuff. He does. I mean, I like what he writes. But in order to get a fan base and for him to get known, I think maybe he should play the more current stuff that people know of, that they hear of, that they
Like,
can sing
you mean-
along to, that they can,
Yeah, like cover other people's stuff?
yeah,
you
like
mean?
covers.
No,
Yes.
we do.
And-
Yeah.
All covers pretty much for
yeah,
live.
he does covers, but,
Uh-huh.
and I think that's good. I think that's what's going to draw the people.
You want him to play what you want him to play.
Well,
Have you met
it's
John?
what I think.
Have you met Britt's dad, John? So right now, you want him to color inside the lines.
In a way, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so you want him to get a coloring book and color inside the lines. You don't want him to color outside the lines and do stuff that he wants to do. Are you good?
I would like to hope
I
so.
brought it out here because I wanted to see, I'm going to ask the audience to vote whether or not she's given you good career advice that you should kind of get mainstream to build a fan base, or whether you should go out and play stuff that maybe nobody's ever even heard of, recognizes, or would know how to relate to, in her opinion.
Well, right.
So I want to know if you're any good. Let me hear you play something.
Will do. Okay.
Give us 30 seconds of your best Waylon. Have a seat. I have to admit, that is pretty impressive. Listen, our son is very much into music, and he is a guitarist and a writer, that's good. Good runs, good speed. So, should Mom pick Anthony's music, yes or no? Pick up your Padgett gadget? The whole point, of course, is she wants him to build a fan base so he has a chance to get some traction to do what he wants to do. He's saying, nah, forget traction. I want to do what I want to do. Vote. 1 for yes, 2 for no. I'm going to see what you guys say first this time. Let's see the results. Okay.
All right.
So, 89% is pretty good for you, right?
Yes.
And 11% is pretty grim for you.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think everybody thinks that?
I don't know. I'm old. I don't know.
They think you're old and you don't know?
Yeah.
Look, I just have to tell you, I've often said that if you live your life without passion, then you need to stop what you're doing and find passion. And when you've got a kid that's 15 years old and is so passionate about something, and I'll bet you spend hours and hours and hours and hours up in your room doing the things that you do. True?
Yep.
And I get it. Listen, we went through this, and so did our neighbors. It's a passion that he has. Can you imagine if this was gone from his life?
Yeah, no. No, I wouldn't want that.
Can you imagine if it was gone from his life? What he would be doing? He would just be like playing some video game or watching the drapes fade.
Right.
That's not what you want. You've got a kid here that has a passion that lights him up, and it's not just a guitar playing passion. He has a certain kind of music, a style of music that he wants to use to define him. You should embrace that. You should encourage that. You should be behind that. 100%.
Yes.
You should be behind it 100%.
I am.
And you should, if he wants your advice about what kind of music he should play, he will ask you. He knows where your room is. He can come ask you. But in the meantime, you should get 100% behind what he's doing. And let me tell you, he's good.
I know. Well, I know that.
He is good.
That was Can't argue that.
So I vote for you.
Oh.
All right? We'll be right back. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Paget for the Paget gadgets that our audience used to vote today to help break our ties. We kind of agreed on most stuff. There was one we were kind of 50-50 on. If you want to comment on any of today's teen issues, visit Teen Talk message boards at drphil.com. Thanks for being here. So long. See ya. Thanks, guys. See y'all.
说人情冷暖，诉世间百态。大家好，欢迎收听翠花的秘密。今天我要给大家分享一个故事。孙兰发现老公赵民最近有点不对劲儿，一开始是加班的次数多了起来，而且回来的时间还晚，常常在他睡了一觉醒来后，才看到躺在身边的赵民。现在则是手机从来不放在床头柜上，而是放在枕头下面，死死地枕着。而且睡前玩手机，赵民都喜欢侧着身子，脸朝他，让孙兰看不见他的手机屏幕。孙兰不傻，通过赵民这一系列的异常表现，她有了不好的预感。孙兰与赵民当初在大学是一个班的，两个人还是老乡，所以自然就熟了一点。后来慢慢地走到一起，毕业后两个人也都选择留在大城市里生活。恋爱1年后就结了婚，工作到现在都混到各自公司里，还算不错的职位。两个人结婚2年，却也没要孩子，婆家自然催得紧，但是孙兰觉得还在事业的上升期，不好因为这个而耽误前途。不过也因为二人年纪还不算太大，婆家倒也没多说什么别的话。可以说孙兰和赵明结婚后过得很是幸福，每天都如同泡在蜜罐中一般。一没有双方老人从中添乱，二没有孩子需要照顾。如果不是今天孙兰突然意识到这样的问题，那她也不会想去探究赵明手机中的秘密。这天赵明又回来的挺晚的，孙兰没睡着，不过她假装睡下了，还打了2下鼾声。赵民轻声叫了他2句，他也没有答应。许是因为在公司待到太晚，也没有喝水，赵民便把床头柜上的一杯水给喝光了，玩了2下手机，突然觉得很困，不一会儿便睡过去了。等到赵民睡熟后，孙兰才从床上坐起来，然后伸手从赵民的枕头下拿出了手机，一输密码果然变了。孙兰心里的不安感愈发加深。以前赵民的手机密码一直都是孙兰的生日。她冷笑一声，然后把赵民的手从被窝里轻轻地拉出来，利用指纹解开了锁。因为第2天是周六，所以孙兰也不急。她开始翻看赵民手机中的软件，打开微信十分干净，除了家人与孙兰，一个女人都没有，就连同女同事都没有。这么干净，似乎是有欲盖弥彰之意。孙兰想了一会儿，然后点开账号管理，果然还有另一个微信号，这是孙兰不曾知道的。孙兰登录上那个微信号，发现里面就有一个女人，时间还停留在今天的上午10点钟，是赵民发的，说是星期1晚上老地方见。孙兰打开手机，默默记下了那个女人的微信号， 孙兰忧伤地摇了摇头，她看着熟睡中的赵民，不禁悲从中来，流下了眼泪。原来赵民已经出轨有一段时间，而自己还始终被蒙蔽在这个美好婚姻的幻想之下。但孙兰又振作起精神，给自己鼓了鼓气儿。她想，既然你赵民不仁在先，就别怪我不义了。她决定星期一去跟踪那2个人看看，正好收集一些赵民出轨的证据。至于到底离不离婚，要看他日后的行为与表现。但他必须保证，无论如何，都要让自己的利益最大化。到了星期一，孙兰就跟老板请了1天的病假，然后出去租了辆车，等在了赵民的公司门口。果不其然，到了中午休息的时间，赵民从公司地下车库开着车出来。孙兰一路尾随，发现赵民去了一家酒店。过了1个来小时，便和一个女人一块走了出来。孙兰赶忙掏出手机来拍照，那2个人依偎在一起，甜蜜极了，气得孙兰把牙咬得咯咯响。赵民送那个女人回了公司，2人又在车上腻歪了好一阵儿。可让孙兰没想到的是，赵民居然又回到了酒店，随后过了一会儿，才从里面走了出来。等到赵民开车驶离，孙兰才慌忙地走进酒店，找理由询问了前台。原来赵民是回来办退房手续。孙兰心生疑惑，退房难道不应该是在他们离开的时候就办理吗？还是落了什么东西在里面？她百思不得其解，于是又等到了下午赵民下班。他并没有回家，而是驱车前往一家咖啡厅。孙兰原以为他是来继续私会情人的，没想到见面的都是一群大男人，加上赵民一共5个人。接着孙兰的手机就收到一条微信：老婆，今天加班，估计晚上才能回家，不用等我了。孙兰关闭手机，继续盯着几个人的动向。她发现赵民正拿着自己的手机给旁边几个男人看呢，那几个人还露出猥琐的笑容。因为他们在靠窗的位置，所作所为都被孙兰看得一清二楚。随后也有2个男人拿出手机给身边几个人看，5个男人笑得更欢脱了。孙兰等了一会儿，发现并没有其他人的出现，于是就叹口气回了家。孙兰吃饱饭后躺在床上，心想势必要弄清楚赵民手机里的秘密，于是又如同那天一样，等到赵民睡熟后，拿出他的手机。孙兰觉得赵民不可能就那点秘密，她也想知道那几个男人到底看了什么。于是眼珠一转，打开了浏览器，发现赵民搜索过一个网站，被加载出的网站内容给惊到了，那竟然是一个偷拍网站。孙兰在心底大骂了一句人渣，没想到与自己同床共枕的竟然是这样一个丑恶猥琐的男人。她不禁觉得恶心，天知道孙兰多想在这一刻就手刃了他。又打眼一看，里面的女人就是他和赵民从酒店出来的那个女人。孙兰心里一惊，只感觉一股凉意从背后袭来。她赶紧下床，用网上查找的寻找微型针孔摄像头的方法查看了卧室，发现并没有，她这才松了口气，坐在了床边。与此同时，一个计划在她心里诞生。这天赵民照例和他的情妇王萌密会，着急地送走王萌后，他又赶了回来，取走了摄像头。不过这次他没有办理退房，因为这回是王萌出的钱。他说自己的好朋友要从外地赶来，没地方住，先住这里应应急。可是等他晚上加班回到家后，发现孙兰并没有如往常一样早早睡觉，而是坐在沙发上等着他。茶几上摆放的是离婚协议书和几张照片。赵明心知肚明，却还在表面装傻充愣，又是转移话题，又是说去睡觉，最后知道瞒不下去了。但他以为孙兰 只知道他出轨的事情，所以就问孙兰想要多少财产，还破口大骂的说孙兰想钱想疯了，全然不顾夫妻情分，还偷拍跟踪他。说完就恶狠狠地瞪着孙兰，一副气急败坏的样子。孙兰冷笑一声说：“哼，你还有脸说我？先看看这个吧。”说完，他把他的手机放在茶几上，赵敏打开就是一段视频，正是赵敏在酒店里安装摄像头的视频。那是早晨他去上班的时间，星期一孙兰跟踪他那天。原本以为他是早晨只是提前去订房，没想到他是去做如此肮脏的事情。赵明看着视频，拿着手机的双手止不住的颤抖。他小心翼翼地看了一眼孙兰，心底发寒，这是要置他于死地的眼神。赵明吓得跪在孙兰面前，恳求她原谅自己，并承诺往后绝不再犯。孙兰只是抬起脚，猛踹了他的胸口一下。原谅？你做梦吧！其实孙兰的计划就是联合王蒙一起把赵明这个混蛋给搞垮，因为他不止出轨还偷拍，这也是让